Steps, big horse. Wichita State. Improvement for horse to 11 meters, 75, 38, 6.5. Versus Kansas, followed by Lewis at Kansas State. Rogers is up. Floats over the bar with 36, 490. And now, yes, another improvement score for the version of 26, 2.5. Lewis of Kansas State. Centimeter off of the MS, 55, 5 1/4. Bar going to 505. Meter 72 for Skywalk. Another set, 41 feet, 8 3/4 inches. Mark Bernine of Kansas, you need to check in with the high jump official, please. Mark Bernine of Kansas. Go the bar at 5 meters 5.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Heskett Center on the campus of Wichita State University. Today it's a gathering of black and yellow, purple, and crimson and blue Jayhawks, Wildcats, and Shockers. Indoor track and field, the 6th annual KU K-State Wichita State Triangular. Hello, everybody. I'm Leon Liebel, along with Wichita State track and field athlete Tanner Brown, as we bring you the broadcast today here at the Heskett Center. And once again, the Shockers, Jayhawks, and Wildcats battling for bragging rights in the Sunflower State. We'll explain the format here shortly, but Tanner, I want to bring you in. And what's this like for all the athletes going up against in-state rivals like this?
Oh, Leon, it's really exciting for all of us with all the Kansas athletes here. We competed, most of us probably at the state track meet, one of the biggest track meets, in the country. And it's just a great time coming out here with all your teammates and opening up the indoor season.
The Triangular began in 2015, and it rotates every year between Wichita, Lawrence, and Manhattan. Now, KU has won this event 3 times, including last year in Lawrence and also in 2016 and 2017, which was the last time it was held here at the Heskett Center in Wichita. K-State's won twice in 2015 and 2018. Wichita State still looking for its first team title, but I am told they expect to make a challenge today, and it could be a very balanced attack for the Shockers.
Well, thus far with the field events coming to a conclusion, only a few more left here. It's looking like K-State in first, Wichita State in second, and KU trailing.
And that was kind of expected. K-State very strong in the field events, especially in the jumping events. Their head coach, Cliff Rovelto, one of the top jumping coaches in the world, really. And they do lead right now, 62.5 points. Wichita State with 51 in second place, and the University of Kansas, 36.5 points. Now, this is a combined team scoring event. Men and women's teams' points are combined to determine the overall team winner. Now, an added twist in this, back in 2018, the meet introduced a 4x400-meter mixed relay featuring 2 men and 2 women competing against each other. I think that's going to be kind of interesting to watch.
Yeah, we're really excited about that. You can see from both aspects of their men's and women's team the kind of speed that they have in that quarter-mile relay.
Now, on paper coming into this, we would think that KU would be the favorite. The men is ranked 14th in the country. Women are ranked 44th, but understand they're missing some athletes. And Coach John Wise, assistant coach for Wichita State, has kind of mapped it out for the mapping out the scoring, what it possibly is going to be like. And it looks like we're going to have a really even match here in this triangular.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be very close today in the competition. I think everyone's just going to come out and represent their teams the best they can.
And once again, the field events, they started this morning around 10:30, continuing to wrap up as we see the triple jump action there. The young lady from the University of Kansas. When we start our coverage here of the actual competition, we will have the women's 1-mile run, and that will start approximately at 1:30. So again, we watch some of the field events going on here. Coaches for all 3 of these teams, they are veterans. Of course, for Wichita State, Steve Rainbolt, now in his 21st year at Wichita State University. And for K-State, Cliff Rovelto, he's been the head coach for the Wildcats since 1992. We mentioned him, one of the top jumping coaches in the country, in the world. He's been at the Olympics several times, including the last Olympics at Rio de Janeiro. And as we get a look at the pole vault, we got 7 cameras posted around this building, and you're going to have all kinds of different angles, and that was a good one there. But again, Cliff Rovelto, and then, of course, for the University of Kansas, Stanley Redwine. He is now in his 20th year as the head coach and in charge of the Jayhawks track and field program, and that makes him second now to Bob Timmons in the length of tenure. Bob Timmons, the legendary KU coach back in the 1960s and 70s, and now Stanley Redwine, a former star athlete himself at the University of Arkansas. In fact, it's kind of ironic. Steve Rainbolt and Cliff Rovelto both are graduates and former track athletes at the University of Kansas.
Yes, yeah.
And here they are competing against the Jayhawks. And as we check on the field events, we were talking about team scoring. We got the Again, K-State leading early here, 62.5, with Wichita State 51 and KU 36.5. As field events continuing to wrap up here at the Heskett Center on the campus of Wichita State University. The hammer throw. And here we go as we check some of the
K-State leading.
Individual results as the women's weight throw results as Helena Ingvaldsen from Kansas State, Ashley Peter also from K-State, 1 and 2. I guess no surprise K-State's on top of this list, again leading overall. But the field events are the strength of this Kansas State Wildcat track and field program. I got to ask you, Tanner, most of the time when we watch track and field, it is outside, it's outdoors over at Cessna Stadium, whether it's the state high school track and field meet or the American Conference Championship. Besides the obvious, we're inside, there's no elements, but what's the biggest difference for an athlete in this type of environment?
Well, you know, as far as field events go, it's really helpful to be indoors because you don't have to battle the elements. But for running events, the level of difficulty actually increases quite a bit with the tighter turns, especially on a 200-meter flat track such as this one. Pole vault, I know they really enjoy it indoors.
Wind.
Not having wind, yeah, exactly. I believe high jump also enjoys it quite a bit.
Wichita State individually, the women's long jump, now the men's long jump. There's Tyler Pride from KU and Jelaine Walker from K-State. We got to keep an eye on that young man. He is an outstanding runner, and he'll be featured later this afternoon here. Again, the KU K-State Wichita State Triangular, second time it's been held here at Wichita State, just the 6th annual overall, alternating between the three schools. So last year it was in Manhattan. As we watch more pole vault action going on here. And it's kind of a tight corner over there on that pole vault. If you get,
Yes, yeah.
I would assume that's a little different. A little different feel.
With a wall right behind the pit, it's a little bit different feeling than having it open, but it really doesn't affect the vaulters as much as you would think. They're very focused. I know KU has some pretty good vaulters here today. Mm-hmm. They're kind of known for having really good pole vaulters on their team every year. I think the bar is at 17 feet 1 inch right now.
In a University of Kansas athlete. As we watch this, that is Kyle Rogers.
Clears
wow.
it.
How about that for an angle? He clears that. And again, this is kind of a fun event from the standpoint, a lot of times when we cover a huge track and field meet, it's kind of hard to keep track of what's going on as far as team totals. I mean, this is just three schools, three teams, men and women together, and we'll follow the scoring as it happens. It's kind of like watching a basketball or even a football game in that regard, so it's going to be kind of fun.
Right. And with all the camera coverage, you said 7 cameras in here, you can see all the events happening all at once, and it's really just an exciting atmosphere in here.
Every time we do a track and field meet of any type, I always call it it's controlled chaos. But here it's a little more controlled, a little more manageable. If you got 3 teams, it's kind of cut and dry. It's a little more clear.
As you can see, the pole vault event is running into the high jump event over there. Getting pretty close cut.
Another look at the pole vault coming at you, and no jump there. Once again, we talk about the rivalry between the 3 schools, the in-state schools, and it's kind of unique that we get all 3 schools in one event like this, one performance. And it also kind of rekindles some old high school matchups. 118 athletes are from the state of Kansas that compete for all three of these schools. Now, not all of those are going to be competing today, but looking at the roster, 52 of those compete for Wichita State, 37 Kansans. There's another clear.
Very good.
That is Zach Bradford, who just cleared for the University of Kansas. So he gets some instructions there and encouragement from his coach. And congratulations, I would assume. But again, 37 Kansans on the KU roster and 29 Kansans compete for K-State as we check out the high jump.
There goes Kyle Alcine. He was a former Cloud County athlete with me.
That's right. You were a transfer from Cloud County and also from Russell High School.
Yes, yes.
So you probably have competed against a lot of these and know a lot of these people, not just on Wichita State, but KU and K-State as well.
Yeah, from high school to Cloud, all the Kansas athletes, if they're at the 4-year, Cloud County, we usually end up at some of their meets.
Now more pole vaulting as we watch again the University of Kansas. It's Jayhawks, Shockers, and Wildcats all in one spot. And that's, again, kind of a unique event, a unique happening as one of the few sports these schools all compete against each other. Not quite there. I love that overhead angle that we're getting.
Yeah, that's really exciting.
Kind of gives you an idea. And then the reaction. You do the pole vault. Again, you're a multi-athlete, decathlete, heptathlete. The pole vault, how difficult is that? It looks pretty difficult to a guy like me.
It's a tough event. It's very technical. It's probably one of the most technical events in the sport of track and field. Just getting off the ground can be a challenge for some athletes mentally, even if they've done it for years. But, it's really fun and exciting once you get the hang of it. And
is it scary at all? Is it dangerous? I mean, there is a danger, it seems.
It really is not as scary as you would think it would be.
If you're good at it, I suppose, yeah.
You're up and then you're down, and it really doesn't take as long as the fall is not quite as bad as you'd think. But for a multi-event athlete, it is a crucial event. You can really gain a lot of points compared to the field for all the newcomers into college that are just getting on to the event. If you're a veteran in that event, you can make up a lot of ground in that.
And now there's the women's pole vaults. Some action from earlier. As we watch a replay
Another
there.
Cloud County alumni.
Who's that?
Jessica Williams from Concordia, Kansas. For the K-State uniform there a little bit ago.
We talked about the rivalry between all these three schools as we check out the women's pole vault results. Samantha Van Hecke from the University of Kansas on top. Jessica Williams from K-State.
I believe Samantha is from Paola High School. Jessica and her had kind of a rivalry in high school as well.
Oh, wow. So that's what kind of makes this event, I think, really neat, is these rivalries from high school carried over. But it is, when you talk about the rivalry, how intense is it? Is there respect, a hatred?
In track and field, it's not like other events or other sports. Maybe in wrestling you have a real head-to-head kind of hatred for one another. But here it's all about getting your own personal marks and improving on your own marks, as well as beating the competition, just having your own day and performing the best you can that day. And even if you don't have the best day, you always know that your teammates are there to pick you up. But it's not so much about the competition. They're just there to push you, so they're more your ally than your rival,
I think it's the final attempt from Zach Bradford from KU. What's the height on this one?
17 feet 1 inch still, unless they have not changed the board.
So we are getting closer to the running events beginning, and that will come up at 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock the running events begin. And we will again start with the women's mile run. And this is on this indoor track. It is 200 meters long, so a little over 8 laps for the mile run. Here we go.
Nope.
Lewis in the ring. Shot put.
And not quite there. And watching the shot put here. Would assume that's a good throw there. Talk about the difference in indoor and outdoor. Field events really probably are affected more so. Would you say, or
Yeah.
there's a lack of wind? And
I would say the shot put isn't affected as much unless the outdoor conditions are.
yeah, the wind's not
rain.
going to affect. Yeah.
Right. And the weight throw is kind of. I've talked to a lot of people that throw the hammer as well as the weight, and the weight throw is just kind of a barbaric sport in their opinion. It's such a heavy object to be throwing.
Seeing a little high jump action there.
That's one of our multis there, Chandler Steiwalt.
You do the high jump, obviously.
I
Do
do.
you like that?
Yes. Yeah, I do enjoy that. I'm more of a runner, but jumping is.
What is your best event, you would say?
I would say the running events are my best event. Middle sprinting, just sprints, 100, 60, 400. All of those are events I kind of excel at as compared to the field in the multis.
And again, if you just joined us, the field events continuing to wrap up here at this KU, K-State, and Wichita State Triangular at the Heskett Center on the campus of Wichita State. And the early team scoring, K-State out to an early lead, 62.5 points total. Wichita State 51, KU in third, 36.5. But this is very, very early, obviously, in this competition. As here's another KU pole vaulter.
Come on, Mike.
Hope he's all right.
That was Kyle Rogers from the University of Kansas. Looks like he's okay.
Yeah.
And we talk about the University of Kansas, so we watch more. Here's a triple jump, Wichita State athlete. All three of these schools have terrific traditions in track and field and really recent success. Of course, Wichita State coming off a terrific outdoor season, I think, when the women won the American Conference meet championship here at Cessna Stadium last spring at Wichita State, which was a terrific event to watch. And the men took Houston, Powerhouse Houston, right down to the wire and finished second. So.
Yeah, it was very close meet. It came down to the 4x4, I believe. And I think the Wichita State just had an unfortunate injury in that event, and
Houston had some pretty good sprinters. One of the
Yes.
maybe probably the best sprinting teams in the country.
it really is.
And then Big 12 action, KU and K-State. KU finished fourth, and K-State finished fifth. The Big 12 meet last spring, and of course they had the top team in the country, Texas Tech, in the Big 12. They won the NCAA National Championship in Austin last year. The left-handed shot putter.
Yeah, the Big 12 and the American Conference equally have pretty good competition.
Yeah, Wichita, of course, Houston brought some star power to town.
The shot put results for the women.
K-State on top there. Wichita State. Amanda Kakakulias.
Yes, and then there in fourth was Kendra Henry. She's the former American Conference champion in the pentathlon, and I believe maybe it was the heptathlon outdoor. I think that's what she won last year.
We talked about you being a multi-event athlete. Wichita State couldn't be a better place for that.
No,
It's been the
Rainbolt-
strength.
Right. Rainbolt really he stresses the multi-events very heavily. He enjoys all the athletes, but I can't stress it enough how supportive Rainbolt is of his multi-athletes. And
Well, he was one himself, a 1980 All-American decathlete at the University of Kansas. So I'm sure he wants me to mention that several times. And here's another attempt. This is Kyle Rogers, again from the University of Kansas on the pole vault. Ooh, just got a hand on there. That bar comes right down his face.
yeah, that does not feel good. I know from experience.
Right on several levels. Also, we talk about the difference, tighter quarters running here, the 200-meter track, a lot of people around this area, but the surface itself, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's a rubberized track surface, more for indoor than the outdoor track. This is called a Mondo surface. I believe that's the company name. It's really good for traction on these tight curves with when you wear spikes and even just tennis shoes.
Yeah, what's the difference in wearing shoes compared to outdoor? Is there much difference, or?
No, it's not. It's really not that much different. It's really just the curves and the angles you're taking these turns at that changes the aspect of the running so much from indoor to outdoor.
It's a good look at the whole Heskett Center there is in the middle. Of course, it's got a basketball court.
Here goes Cole Conradi from Ashland, Kansas.
Ashland Blue Jay, Cole Conradi.
Clearing 6'3".
Watched him in the state track and field meet just a few years ago. There's a lot of these athletes. Of course, Wichita State's done a terrific job of recruiting, I think, smaller town athletes who really blossom. There's another.
There's Chandler Steiwalt. He's from Western Kansas there, Ness City. That's where.
Ness City Eagles. There's a good look at Steve Rainbolt, head coach in charge of Wichita State track and field on the left there in the white. Again, we talked about he's a former decathlete. Now a big-time golfer, I understand. He goes to golf. Watching that triple jump. And again, we'll be getting underway with the running events here around 2 o'clock. The women's mile run will be our first event to bring to you. As you're watching the KU, K-State, Wichita State Triangular. That's what it's officially called. I think we should call it the Wichita State KU, K-State Triangular, since we're here on the campus of Wichita State at the Heskett Center. A lot of exciting things going on this campus, obviously. Just so much construction everywhere, and not only for the academic side, but how about the new track and field facilities going up over there at Cessna Stadium and, near Cessna, it's going to connect with Koch Arena. That's going to be a great benefit, I think, to this program.
Yeah, it's going to be a really beneficial construction for the program. I know we're all really excited about it. The coaches, it's going to have a lot of coaching offices in there, a new weight room for the track and field program.
Locker rooms?
Locker rooms as well, yes.
I mean, I know those locker rooms underneath Cessna Stadium where they're okay.
Cessna's not the newest stadium around. It's a great stadium. It is. It's been weathered.
And it's got a lot of tradition with track and field, that's for sure.
Yes. State track meets for many years.
Just saw Rebecca Topham run by us as she warms up. She'll be running the mile along with Winnie Koske, two of the top long-distance runners for the Wichita State women.
Here's the women's high jump results. Looks like we have a shocker.
Sydney Sapp on top, sophomore. 5'8", 7'5" was her top leap. Again, KU, several guys in the pole vault here. Again, Kyle Rogers, Paulo Benavides, and Zach Bradford all competing.
There's a University of Kansas high jumper here. Clearing the bar at 63 inches.
It's great how we're just bouncing around here showing all these field events going on at one time. And field events are always a little more difficult to cover because they're all happening at one time and keeping up with what's going on, but do our best here.
Really shows you how active this indoor facility here, how much we can get going on in such a small area.
All right, just moments away again from starting our running competitions with the women's mile. And we are at the Heskett Center on the campus of Wichita State University, the KU State Wichita State Triangular. We'll be back with more action right after this.
not the best in the NCAA this year. 18-11 last year at the Kansas Rivers. As a freshman.
And back here at the Heskett Center on the campus of Wichita State University, it is the KU State Wichita State Triangular. And again, there's the team point total so far, very early in the competition as the field events continue to wrap up here. Once again, I'm Leon Liebel along with Wichita State decathlete Tanner Brown. He's joining me today and going to carry me along here as these athletes usually do when we're covering the Wichita State track and field events. But it's always fun to be around these terrific athletes as we got KU, K-State, and Wichita State. There we are at the all in the same building under the same roof today, competing for the title here. Again, the 6th annual triangular between these three schools. And KU has won 3, K-State's won 2. Wichita State would love to break into that winning column here this year. And maybe they have a chance. Again, KU would seemingly be the favorite, but they have several of their top athletes out, some with illness. And again, Wichita State assistant coach John Weiss, who maps out and projects the scoring, and he thinks it's going to be very, very even all the way through. So,
I mean, it could come down to 1 or 2 events, you know. That's how a lot of track meets are.
Of course, each one of these schools, and again, this is men and women combined, the scoring. So it all counts toward the team total, both sides. But all these schools have their strengths and weaknesses. K-State, of course, always very strong in the jumping events and field events. As we're updating the team scores right now, K-State continues to lead as they've increased their team total to 76.5 points. And Wichita State now with 66 points and KU 51.5. But again, K-State, their strength are the field events. KU, a lot of great sprinters and runners. And Wichita State probably maybe the most balanced.
Yeah, we do have a lot of athletes in every area of the sport, which without the multi-event competition here, which is where Wichita State, I would say, has their strength. But we have them competing in open events here, whichever their specialties are. I think we have a lot of Wichita State athletes in the high jump currently.
A lot of activity going on right now as we're getting close to the start of our running events. And again, the women's mile will be our first event. So continue to watch some of the field events. The women's long jump going on. There's the mile runners getting ready.
This should be a really good race. We got 3 of our top runners from Wichita State.
Run those down for you. Yasmin Wright from Wichita State. Emma Wren from Kansas State. Emma Lucas from Kansas State. Rebecca Topham from Wichita State. Winnie Koskai from Wichita State. Lisa Laschke from Kansas. And Addison Coppinger also from the University of Kansas. Yasmin Wright with the top seed time, 4:57.68. Check that. Rebecca Topham is the top seed, and she'll be in lane 4 at 4.4835. I should have known that without even looking. Rebecca Topham, one of the top long-distance runners, actually in the country, qualified for the NCAA tournament, NCAA meet, I should say, last spring. And again, she's in lane 4 for Wichita State as they are about ready to go. And we're off and running. The running events have begun here at the Triangular, KU K-State and Wichita State. As I mentioned at the top of the show, it's black and gold, crimson and blue and purple, all in one place.
And you know, this is when the Heskett Center really gets exciting with the runners going around the track, the field events going on all around them.
That's Emma Wren out to the early lead for K-State, just on this first lap here. Again, it's a 200-meter track indoors, so a little over 8 laps total. As the group coming down. Rebecca Topham usually always starts out in the back of the pack. That's her style. And she is in the back. She'll make her move somewhere along the line here.
And you know, sometimes in the longer races, that's the way to do it. You let them lead and do the work and pull you along with them until the end, and then you make your move.
Emma Wren, again, from K-State, setting the pace early. Right behind her, though, is Yasmin Wright from Wichita State. Also there, Addison Coppinger from the University of Kansas. So you come right in front of us here and make the first turn. 400 meters now complete of the 1 mile run. And now Yasmin Wright from Wichita State is taking the lead. Winnie Koskai is in second place, and Winnie Koskai is one of the top runners also for the Wichita State women.
They had a very good cross-country season, these girls. I believe finishing third in the conference.
Now Winnie Koskai now in the lead. They just completed 600 meters. Going on the far back stretch from our perspective here. We are right at the finish line, by the way, so we'll get a good look. All these finishes this afternoon. It's Winnie Koskai still in that lead.
Coming through 800 meters here. The lead runner in 2:30.
And Rebecca Topham moving up into fourth place now. Again, customarily for her, she starts out in the back of the pack and then makes a move, and she's starting to do that a little bit now. But how about Winnie Koskai in the lead for Wichita State? Yasmin Wright right behind her in second. One thing, Tanner, I've learned watching this with teammates running, somebody sets a pace for the others. And are we seeing any of that right now?
Yes, I believe she's taking the lead, trying to get her teammates to get a good pace and run a good time. They kind of help each other out that way.
Again, that's Emma Wren in the purple for Kansas State in third place now, as Rebecca Topham almost ran into her from behind there and nearly stumbled. Now she's going to move over to the outside. It's Topham, number 4. And she's moving up on the outside now in second place. So the two top runners in this race are Winnie Koskai and Rebecca Topham coming in, and now they are 1 and 2.
Here they are approaching their final lap. It could be anybody's race. There's a tight group up there for 1 through 3, 1 through 4.
Here we go as they come around, and now Rebecca Topham has taken the lead as they go down the back stretch. Rebecca Topham really stretching it out. American Conference champion. We saw that at Cessna Stadium in the mile run. Rebecca Topham. Considered a child prodigy in running. And here she comes.
Here we go. Now, this is beginning their final lap. Sorry,
yeah, here's the bell lap. As we are just at under 420.
She's increased her lead.
She's really increasing it. Now Winnie Koskai, they kind of into a sprint now. The Topham really stretching it out down that back stretch. And it is close between Emma Wren from K-State and Winnie Koskai from Wichita State. They'll be battling for second. So Rebecca Topham kind of takes a peek behind her coming around the final turn. Here she comes.
They're passing
down the final straightaway. Rebecca Topham will win the women's mile run. Winnie Koskai finishes second. So that's a nice 12 points right there, team points for Wichita State, because number 1 finishes with 7, second with 5, third. Finish was with fourth. By the way, that was Emma Wren, who does finish in third place for Kansas State.
Winning with a time of 4:53, Rebecca. That's 5 seconds off of her PR, or her seed time.
She kind of slowed down, I noticed, at the final straightaway. She kind of took a peek behind her, and she had it, and I think
it was a race for a place, not quite a race for a
that she just get those points. So
right.
That's important, and that helps Wichita State immediately as the running events began. And as Rebecca Topham, we see her getting congratulations. I understand it's been kind of a difficult winter-fall season for her as she's battling some energy issues, I've been told. And she looked great there, though.
Yeah, that was a really good race for her, I believe.
Well, the men's mile run now is coming up next, and we'll have Marcus Query from the University of Kansas, Ethan Powell from Kansas State, Jed Helker from Wichita State, John Luter from the University of Kansas, Ethan Donnelly from KU, Kirby Deppenbush from Kansas State, and Adam Moore from Wichita State. And Ethan Donnelly in lane 5 has the top seat time coming in. This John Luter, though, is in lane 4, and he's right behind him. And also Ethan Powell from K-State, pretty good time coming into this. So to keep an eye on those guys.
Yeah, they're approaching that around that 4 minute.
Jed Helker, saw him, of course, a lot last spring. Kind of emerged as a quality long distance runner for Wichita State.
There we are, they're lining up along the waterfall line there.
Again, on the far left, that is Adam Moore from Wichita State. Next to him is Kirby Deppenbush from K-State. Ethan Donnelly in lane 5, number 5, as they get the last second minute instructions here. John Luter, also in the blue for KU, number 4. And that's number 3, Jed Helker in lane 3 for Wichita State. Ethan Powell, K-State. And then on the far right there in the number 1 lane, that is Marcus Query from the University of Kansas. And another mile run here on this 200-meter track. Now, we talked about the tight quarters. There's people all over moving around. Is there a distraction issue at all sometimes?
For the distance runners, it could be they're just trying to keep focus and they keep on pace. And it's a very technical race with the longer distances. So
there's all the activity going on right now at the Heskett Center, and a lot going on in a relatively small area.
Yes.
This is an amazing facility as they are off and running. The men's mile race, K-State, Wichita State, and KU.
Jed Helker taking the lead there on the first curve.
There's Jed Helker, Wichita State, the number 3.
Followed by Ethan Donnelly.
Jed Helker again setting the pace early. Ethan Donnelly right behind him in second place, but now
Adam Moore there.
Adam Moore making a move for Wichita State. He's in second place as 1 lap is down here. Yeah, a little over 8 laps on this 200-meter track for the men's mile run. We just saw the women's, and Wichita State dominated that, finishing 1 and 2. See if the men can follow up here.
Finishing their first 400 in about 1:05.
Again, that's Adam Moore in second place with Jed Helker out in front.
Shocker's kind of taking the initiative here in this field.
Runners all have different styles. We saw in the women, Rebecca Topham loves to start from behind and come up. Some people like to jump out early, set that pace. Again, with 6 lanes on the indoor track. Contrast to the 8 lanes on the outdoor. And as soon as they finish the lap right in front of us, there's like a traffic light. People walking, walking across the track here. But it all works somehow as Jed Helker continues in the lead for Wichita State. Not a big lead, though. Adam Moore right behind him. And now John Luter from the University of Kansas. He's in third place. They come down the front straight, right in front of us here in the broadcast booth. Half-mile mark is complete.
Kind of a surprise. Our number 1 seed time is getting toward the back here.
3.5 laps to go. As now for K-State, that is Ethan Powell has moved into third place behind the two Shockers. As here they come down again the front straightaway. Jed Helker.
3 laps to go here.
I got to ask, since the one lap is 200 meters as opposed to 400 meters on the outdoor, does it seem maybe a little almost easier that you're moving faster? Is it kind of in your head maybe that way, or?
It seems like you're going faster when you're really not. Is how it feels like with the races. Your time will be slower when you thought you were going faster. So it's kind of a higher difficulty of running here.
Jed Helker in first place again with Adam Moore right behind him. As they go into that turn one here, another lap complete. And now in third place is Marcus Query has come up for the University of Kansas. So there's your 1, 2, 3. Boy, Adam Moore really challenging his teammate Jed Helker.
Yeah, they're doing a good job of pushing each other here into their last lap.
Adam Moore has just passed Jed Helker on the bell lap, and here we go. 1 lap to go as they're going to start stretching it out, sprinting almost down that back straightaway. But Adam Moore is really pulling away from his teammate Jed Helker.
Oh, yeah, this is a fantastic effort here.
Adam Moore from Wichita State run a terrific race. Did exactly what he wanted to do and made his move at that last lap, and he will win at a time of just under 4:12, around 4:12. We'll get that here. Jed Helker finishes second, so another big run. There it is, 4:11.44 for Adam Moore. Jed Helker, Wichita State finishes second, 4:13.57, and then it was Ethan Powell from Kansas State finishing third. But again, some points coming up for Wichita State as they finish 1 and 2, and that's another 12 team points for the Shockers.
Yeah, it was a great race.
Off to a great start in the running events, winning both the women and the mile, finishing first and second in both those races. K-State coming in third on this men's mile. We're updating the team scores as we speak. We'll get you those in a second here. As Wichita State is now up to 88. There it is. The Shockers up to 88 points. KU at 62.5. And K-State, let's see if they're going to change that at 90.5. Wichita State has really narrowed the gap here.
Yeah, closing
between themselves and K-State. But again, very, very early in this triangular. I think usually it's been around 230, 240 points has won this. I think last year, though, K-State had 261, which was the most in the history of this event, the win up in Manhattan. So that kind of gives you an idea of what needs to be done. As we get ready now, as they're going to set up the hurdles. The women's 60-meter hurdles are coming up next. And while they set up the track here, we're going to take a bit of a break. Again, you're watching the KU State Wichita State Triangular here at the Heskett Center at Wichita State. We're back with more right after this.
jumpers over now into the line. Mason Huckmaster, Wichita State in the high jump. And he's over. 3-0. Dialogue with his second miss at 2:05. Been on the women's 60-meter hurdle. Lead record 8:18 by U.S. Kansas State 2015. Facility record 8:27 by Wichita State 2017.
Competitors.
And back here at the Heskett Center on the campus of Wichita State University, Leon Liebel along with Wichita State decathlete Tanner Brown, bringing you the broadcast here this afternoon on WSU TV, and getting ready for more running events as the 60-meter hurdles. The women will be coming up here in a second. As again, we just saw the mile runs, men and women, and Wichita State off to a terrific start. Finishing 1 and 2 with Rebecca Topham and Winnie Koske in the women, and then on the men's side, Adam Moore and Jed Helker finishing 1 and 2 on the men's side. So and again, Wichita State, as we update the scores, now the Shockers are in the lead, 90-17 points after those running events. And some of the field events also finishing up around us. And K-State in second place, 95.5 points. KU in third, 67.5 points. But a lot of competition left this afternoon here at this triangular.
I think the only field event they have that's still in the running right now is high jump. I believe that's the only one left undecided.
I believe you're right, as the pole vault is complete. And we got the winning pole vault coming up for you as University of Kansas. Young man from KU won that, as we'll see the replay. There it is, just got over it.
Very good.
As KU won the pole vault. They had several competitors going there late. But again, we got the 60-meter hurdles coming up. And, you and I were talking about this, Tanner, the hurdles. I'm always so impressed with the athletes that compete in this event. It's a difficult challenge.
It is. It's a very, very difficult event. And you said the people in high school that they just learn it, and if you're a natural at it, there's nothing compared to that. It's a hard event to learn.
And again, we're talking about 60 meters here, and this is a quick race right here.
Yeah,
up
very
and
fast.
down, up and down, and boom. 5 hurdles to clear for these athletes as we're going to be getting ready with the women first, and we'll do a rundown here for you, and as we check out that on the on your screen. But for the University of Kansas, it'll be Cameron Thomas. She'll be in lane 1. Sydney Wilson for Wichita State in lane 2. Claudia Rojo, one of the outstanding Shocker athletes for Wichita State. She's in lane 3. Tony England from the University of Kansas in lane 4. Victoria Alves from Kansas State in lane 5. Maria Romero from Wichita State in lane 6. And I believe it's going to be Ario Okori for K-State is in this race. There's 2 sections of this 60-meter race, so as we see them getting ready right almost up against the wall, their starting positions. And the top seed time coming in this is Claudia check that. Victoria Alves at 8:36. But check that again. Ario Okori of 8:34 will actually have the top time, as she actually has switched with teammate Maddie Ryder. Maddie Ryder was originally scheduled to be in this first section, but she'll be in the second heat.
Very close field there with 8:34 through.
There's our starter.
36.
And we are about ready to go as they'll be coming down the straightaway right in front of us. And 60 meters, 5 hurdles to clear. And you see the two shockers to the far right. Sydney Wilson and Claudia Rojo right next to each other in lane 2 and 3. Lane 1, that is Cameron Thomas on the far right.
This can be a very dangerous event. If someone falls, very close quarters. So
They'll be coming right at us as you see Claudia Rojo in lane 3. Claudia Rojo, but
K-State athlete
K-State with the lead. Both 1 and 2. K-State will finish, but that was close. And it was Alves and Corey, I believe, 1 and 2. Victoria Alves. No, it will be Ario Corio finishing first at 8.55. Alves 8.56, and then Claudia Rojo finishes third at 8.87. Sydney Wilson. So some points there again for Wichita State. It's not but K-State with the top 2 places finishes 12 team points out of that.
Comes the second heat lining up in their blocks.
Wichita State picks up 7 points there. Well, check that. We got another
heat.
section here. Yes, I got ahead of myself on the points, so depends on the times here coming up. So continue. Now, once again, let's do a rundown here. Lane 1 will be Maddie Ryder from K-State. Maddie Ryder. Amaya Anoma for Wichita State in lane 2. Ancia Cole for Wichita State in lane 3. Alice Boasso from KU. And you do that one for K-State. So we saw it. I think that's Yuturi Vakianskaite from K-State. That's what I've been told. And Kendra Henry from Wichita State in lane 6. So we had 7 athletes in that first. Is that right?
That showed a Kansas State athlete there clearing 6 feet 11 inches. That was Kyle Alcine again, Cloud County alumni.
That was for K-State?
Yes.
Again, K-State, great high jumpers, long jumpers.
Yes, jumpers.
Olympians. I can go way back to Nathan Leeper from Protection, Kansas, who competed in the Olympics from K-State. One of the great names for a high jumper, by the way, as we are about ready to go for the second section. Second heats in the 60-meter women's hurdles. Always kind of a tense moment here at that start.
Right.
Don't want to have a false start.
Everyone calming their nerves.
Right, almost up against the wall here as they get ready to start. And they're off. And here they come down that front straightaway.
Wichita State leading it.
And it looks like Wichita State may have won that.
Very close. Very
Cole.
close.
And it was Sia Cole for Wichita State, 9:03. And how about that? A 1-2 finish. Is Kendra Henry finishing second at 9:08. I don't think any of those times, though, were in the top 3. So my point total I gave earlier, I think will hold up. And again, to give you an update on the team totals, which changed moments ago, but it will continue to change. Wichita State in the lead at 97 points total. K-State 95.5, KU at 67.5. As we are getting ready now for the men's 60-meter hurdles coming up. They'll raise those a little bit. A little excitement going across the way on the high jump. A near make for somebody from Wichita State, I think. Wichita State, though, off to a great start in the running events. Again, we had the mile run, men and women, now the 60-meter hurdles. K-State, though, finishing 1 and 2 in the women's 60-meter hurdles. And for Wichita State, well, let's go down the run down. Tyler Pride from University of Kansas. He'll be in lane 1.
Kyle Alcine again clearing, I believe that's 7-1.
There's Steve Rainbow walking by.
That equals his mark that ranks number 2.
It's his congratulations.
Who's up ranks number 3 at 2:09. Now we're ready for the men's.
All right, the 60-meter hurdles. Let's go down again, the rundown here on this lineup. Tyler Pride from the University of Kansas, he'll be in lane 1. Donovan Turner from K-State, lane 2. Joseph Holtheisen, Wichita State, in lane 3. Local athlete, of course, from Bishop Carroll. We talked about this off the air. He's been outstanding as a freshman last year, and terrific athlete. Played football for Bishop Carroll, and now doing a terrific job in track and field here at Wichita State. Javon Reese from the University of Kansas in lane 4. Oscar Smith from K-State, and Antonio Norman in lane 6 for Wichita State. And Oscar Smith will have the best seed time, 7:87. He's in lane 5 in purple for K-State.
Both Joseph and Antonio both have personal best, season bests of just over 8. I believe 8:0 and 8:03.
Yeah, it's Joseph Holthuse in there in the lane 3, Wichita State, in the shocker yellow. And on the far left for Wichita State, that is Antonio Norman. Oscar Smith there in lane 5. Again, top seed time coming into this. I'm not sure how those times really translate, though, to who's favored this early in the season.
It's hard to tell this early. It depends on how everyone's off-season went, you know.
Again, the 60-meter hurdles for the men. And this is the first of 2 heats. Remember that. As 6 athletes running. We'll have 4 athletes in the next heat, but here we're getting ready for the first heats.
I am predicting a very close race here for probably the front 4 runners.
Always ask, what's it like, the tension of getting in those blocks and making sure you get off that great start? That's got to be tough.
It is. The nerves are going crazy. You just have to control your breathing, control your heart rate, and relax and run a race. There they go.
And we're off and running. We have, looks like a false start or something happened at the beginning.
I do believe.
And I think we had a big high jump for Wichita State. Buckmaster over there for trying to find out exactly who that was. There's a big roar from the crowd across the way.
Mason Buckmaster must have cleared 7 feet 1 inches as well. So that's a head-to-head battle over there between Kansas State and
here we go.
Wichita State.
Wow.
Great. I believe that's tying close to his personal best.
Just got over that bar. Nice effort from Mason Buckmaster, who provided some theatrics, if I remember right, at the American Conference meet last spring at Cessna Stadium. Have we lost a runner here?
I don't believe there was a green card, just a reset.
Yep. That's good to see. I always hate that, especially when you go to the state high school track and field meet and watch the false start. It's the walk of shame.
All that work to get
yes.
to that one point.
And,
yeah, it's a tough deal.
In that situation, what probably happened there? Just
maybe someone flinched on the set and they didn't catch it right away, and just an irregular start, so they wanted to get it reset, and everyone had a fair chance.
All right, set to go again. We'll try again with the 60 meters, the hurdles for the men. 2 Shockers, 2 Wildcats, 2 Jayhawks in this first heat, 6 athletes. Set to go. Here we go. This one's a clean start. Holthusen in lane 3. Holthusen trying to stay in the lead, and Joseph Holthusen has it. And it's going to be Wichita State with Holthusen finishing first, K-State in second, and I think Wichita State had a 3rd place finish as well.
I believe that was the number 1 seed time runner, which was
Oscar Smith from K-State. Did he scratch on that?
He fell on the 2nd hurdle, 3rd hurdle.
Some hurdles. Let's check out the replay on that one. But again, a good effort for Joseph Holthusen from Wichita State. There he is. And he was pretty happy about that. As we hopefully have the replay here coming up. No replay, but again, we have one more heat to go, and it's going to be 4 athletes in this heat. Reichenberger from Wichita State, Joseph Holthusen up in the stands getting congratulated. How about that? You up, sit in the seats.
Very happy about his run there. Very happy.
Reichenberger from Wichita State in lane 3 as they continue to warm up for this second heat.
He's a decathlete here with me, competing with me.
Mark Burden from KU. Mattis Adominus from K-State.
Adominus, yes, I believe so.
And Grant Downs from Wichita State. What's Reichenberger's first name?
Colin.
Okay, we had an abbreviation. I wanted to make sure. So you see it right there. That's your lineup for the second heat. But again, Wichita State doing well. Early start here in the running events. Joseph Holthusen won that first heat. See how another high jump across the way as it continues.
Looks like a Kansas State athlete on the approach. That's 7 feet 1 inch.
Not
very near miss.
There.
Very near.
Yeah, here we go. There's the 4 athletes left.
There they go.
Young man from KU there getting himself fired up. That's Mark Burden. A little letting out a big whoop there.
Got to get the blood going.
Slap in the face. Get woke up, man. So we're about ready to go for this second heat, 60 meters, men's hurdles. Coming up next, we'll have the women's 400 meters.
They're on the set position.
And there's the gun.
Another.
And let's see what we got here.
Let's see what their judgment is on this one.
Again, always just tense moments before those starting guns. And
this here is a Jim Cross, a hometown.
Another Russellite.
Right.
Russell,
right.
Kansas.
Yes.
And that was a red card, so we lose a runner.
We did lose an athlete.
And we lost Matis Adominus for K-State. False start. He was in lane 5. So now we're down to 3. And Colin Reichenberger for Wichita State. He's on the far right. Next in would be Mark Burden from KU. And on the far left, that is Grant Downs from Wichita State. So 2 shockers and a Jayhawk in this heat. 60 meters, the hurdles. Are they set and ready to go?
Set position.
And they are off, and here they come. And that is Reichenberger on the far right. Reichenberger in the lead, and he will finish first with his teammate. Grant Downs in second in that particular heat. See how that holds up total, since this is one of the second of 2 heats.
This is Colin's first competition back from a torn Achilles.
Oh, my.
Yes, so he did well in the pole vault earlier, and that was a very good showing in the hurdles for him.
Always a difficult injury to recover from, no matter what sport you play. And see a lot more of those these days from younger athletes. It used to be kind of considered the old man injury, but
I believe it's quite a long recovery. I think it was almost a year, I think.
Reichenberger 8.43 and Downs at 8.52. Burden finishes third, as it was just 3 runners in that race. It turned out with 8.81 in third place. So, 60-meter hurdles for the men are complete in Wichita State. Another successful event there for the Shockers.
Yeah, great showing, great showing.
As we check out, again, we haven't updated the score.
State of 7 feet 2 inches on the board.
That time not that close. He hit it on the way up.
Right. Doesn't look happy with that attempt.
Quickly clearing out the hurdles here as we get ready for another running event coming up, and it'll be the 400 meters. We'll start with the women first in that event, as the high jump continues to be the final field event wrapping up here at the Heskett Center on the campus of Wichita State. What do those coaches tell you during the high jumps and things like that? What, jump higher? Or?
Just got to stay relaxed. Stay relaxed and focus on your technique.
And we're going to have 3 heats here in this women's 400 meters coming up. 3 heats. So. We're going to have 3 runners in each heat of the 400 meters.
Wow, that bar looks very, very daunting from this angle.
Looks like he's going to come down maybe between K-State and Wichita State on the high jump.
Here comes Mason Buckmaster. Approaching with a lot of speed. Close attempt on that one.
Steve Rainbolt.
He was quite the high jumper himself. I believe over 7 feet for him as a multi-athlete.
Yeah, is he watching the replay here? Is that what he's doing, or?
I'm unsure what he's doing. Maybe just checking.
I don't know if he's checking out.
Checking points.
I thought maybe he's checking maybe a replay of that jump, and.
Yeah, he could be checking his form. Of course, not showing the athlete.
Here we go again with the K-State. Oh, wow, that was sweet.
That was a fantastic jump. Fantastic jump.
6th best jump in the NCAA indoors this year.
I believe that's a tie of a personal best for him.
Let's watch that again on the replay.
I believe he previously jumped that at the Commonwealth Games.
Well, he cleared that pretty well too. I mean, they're always close, but that one, he had some daylight between the arch of his back and the bar there.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
So K-State, is that, you see some of the crowd here, fans watching, a lot of parents making the trip to Wichita.
Here we are lining up.
Ready for the 400 meters.
Yes, 3 athletes in this heat.
I mean, 2 laps around this 200-meter track, obviously. So, and again, it's Lauren Taubert from K-State. She's in lane 4. Mariah Kuykendall from the University of Kansas, and Tiana Holmes from Wichita State in lane 6. And pretty easy to identify here there with their colors, purple, crimson and blue, and black and yellow.
Team.
1 from each of the big 3 in the state of Kansas. And is out front early in this race is Kuykendall from KU.
As they cut in here, it's a
battle
between.
We lose a runner. That's Tiana Holmes from Wichita State. Has pulled up lame here on the front straightaway.
There's
So it's just a 2-person race.
I think there's an issue with the cones here with the cut in. They're supposed to stay on this.
Kuykendall out front. Again, Taubert in second as they're going to finish this final lap and finish the race. But we may have an issue here. Kuykendall finishes first for KU. Lauren Tolberts finishes second. And there is, I took a look there, that was, again, Tiana Holmes, who she kind of just came up lame after that first lap down the front straightaway, and now she's being helped off the track. Hope she's okay. No time for her, obviously. First of 3 heats in this 400-meter women's race. It's a good look again at the Heskett Center. All the activity is going on here. Men's high jump continuing on the far side.
Bars raising to 7 feet 3 inches. Or somewhere about.
How intimidating is that?
Very, very.
Again, we're getting ready for another 400-meter race, and it'll be the second of 3 heats.
Again, a shocker in the outside lane.
Let's do the rundown here. Akia Guerrier from K-State is in lane 4. Xanton Dickerson from the University of Kansas is in lane 5, and Paula Garcia from Wichita State in lane 6. Second of 3 heats for the 400 meters women. Two laps around.
Set position. Off.
And there they go. As again for Wichita State, that's Paula Garcia, who had the
She's off to a really good start.
early lead here in the far left lane, lane 6. Coming up on her is Akia Guerrier from K-State.
Closing the stagger there.
And as they come down to finish this first lap, Garcia moving over in the inside. She's in the lead as 1 lap to go in this 400-meter race.
As you can see around the cut in there, that's where the indoor 400 is a very aggressive race.
Paula Garcia in the lead for Wichita State down that back straightaway, coming into the final turns on this 400-meter race. Guerrero in second for K-State. Is this going to be a tight finish down to all 3 runners coming down the stretch? As for KU,
Oh, very close finish.
wow, that was Dickerson making a push at the end. Did she win that? I think she did. Zantori Dickerson with a strong, there it is, 57.15. What a finish for her. Paula Garcia finishes second. Dickerson with a great push down the final straightaway. And we got one more heat to coming up as they're ready to go already. As they are in the blocks in this third heat. And it'll be LaVon Stevenson from K-State. Aaron Sermons in lane 5 for the University of Kansas. And Ancia Cole from Wichita State in lane 6.
We've just seen a miss 7-3 on that jump for high jump.
Wichita State get a shot at that, Buckmaster, or where are we on him?
I don't know that he cleared the last height. It was still a very, very good competition for him, I believe. Opening the season with a 7-1 jump.
Okay, the third and final heat of the 400 meters for the women. Again, it is Stevenson for K-State, Sermons for KU, Cole for Wichita State. So they are in the block, set to go. Runners up, and we're off. And Cole out to the early lead on the stagger as she is in that outside lane. Lane 6, but already Aaron Sermons from the University of Kansas out to the early lead as they come down the final lap here, or the first lap of this 400-meter race. Aaron Sermon with LaVon Stevenson from K-State right behind her. And they're on the back straight. Sermon still in that lead, trying to stretch it out. Will somebody make a move here like we saw in that last heat?
Right.
And right now,
there she is.
It looks like Stevenson is coming on strong. That is LaVon Stevenson from K-State as she takes the lead down the last straightaway, down this last lap, and at the finish, and she wins the heat. With KU's Aaron Sermons in second, Ancia Cole from Wichita State finishes third. There's your times. Again, Stevenson, Sermons, and Cole. 57.45, the top time in that heat. As the women's, that wraps up the 400 meters for the women's. And now bring up the men's 400s. As we have some rhythmic clapping going, a little rally time over there, trying to get a big jump here for the K-Stater.
Oh. I think we may have overlooked the men's triple jump.
Oh, still going on?
Yes.
There will be 2 sections. Meet record 47.
And this 400 meters men's coming up here, by the way, there's going to be 2 sections, so it'll be, again, 3 runners in each heat. You see the lineup in the first heat. It will be Justin Davis for K-State, Ethan Fogel for Kansas, and Adam Ghazi for Wichita State.
In the first section, lane 4, out of Washington, D.C.
So we take a look now as the triple jump continuing.
This is Ethan Toy.
Ethan Toy, the big knee brace. That looks
Yes.
a little cumbersome to do that event.
And it is his jump leg as well, his right leg there. He competed in the men's long jump earlier.
Now for K-State, it's Kyle Alcine, the high jumper.
Yes.
Put on a nice show over there for the fans. They got involved. As again, we're ready for this section number 1 of the men's 400 meters. And they are off and running 2 laps around the 200-meter track as, again, for Wichita State, Adam Ghazi in lane 6. He's got that early lead going in the first turn.
Yeah, into the curve there.
And they
Stagger.
come down on the final of the first lap, final straightaway of the first lap.
There's the cut in.
Right now, K-State
close
takes
race.
the lead. That is Justin Davis now in the lead for K-State. Justin Davis with Adam Ghazi right behind him. Good race here, 1, 2, and 3. As Ethan Fogel, he's in third from KU. This could come down to the wire as they come around the final turns.
Oh, here comes
And
the
Adam Ghazi trying to make a move. Ghazi trying to chase down Justin Davis.
There he is.
Crowd is on their feet. Adam Ghazi
Adam Ghazi,
crosses the finish line first for Wichita State. Good run for Ghazi.
very good surge there.
Well,
at
he
the
really
end.
had a battle to get the lead and then keep that lead down the stretch. As he wins the first section, 49-19 for Adam Ghazi from Wichita State. Fogel from KU finishes second. So,
like we discussed, that 400 meters or the indoor track, it makes it really tough with these middle distance long sprints because it's really a battle to get at the inside advantage.
and we have one more section to go here, one more heat as we continue to watch some of the field events wrapping up with the triple jump over on the far corner of the Heskett Center here at Wichita State.
Edmond Memorial High School in Oklahoma for the Jayhawks was 6th in the Big 12 60 hurdles, best 51.
As we do get ready for this second section, I'll tell you, Tim Lambert from K-State, he will be in lane 4. Darius Relaford from KU, lane 5. Austin Corley from Wichita State in lane 6.
And number 5 in the 400 indoors at 48.16.
I would say the 400 is my specialty event in the outdoor season. As
Do you
far
like
as-
the indoor?
Not as much.
As there they go, off and running. As,
Austin Corley pulling away there.
Corley taking an early lead. Boy, he's running hard as he comes around those turn 3 and 4 down the front straightaway here. One lap already nearly complete.
On the cut in there.
Corley in the lead, but right behind him from K-State, that is Tim Lambert. Darius Relaford in third from the University of Kansas. And Corley hold on to this lead. He's getting a little close there. They finish the back straightaway coming around the final turns.
Here it is.
Austin Corley in the lead. Tim Lambert
hold on
trying
to
to
it.
chase him down. Lambert is going to edge him at the line and does a somersault to finish that race. I believe Lambert got him.
Very great. Very great effort there by all the runners.
Darius Relaford in finish. There it is. Lambert did finish first, 49.63, just edging out Austin Corley from Wichita State. Corley at 49.67 as Relaford from the University of Kansas, 58.3. There's your finish. He just got him. Just got him. That was so close at the finish. Good look there from our cameras at the finish line here at the Heskett Center. As we are all over the place here, keeping you covered. As once again, this is the men's 400 meters just wrapping up section 2 of 2. And we've got more.
Another high jump attempt here.
Again, for K-State. Kyle Alcine. And maybe running out a little gas there, as that's his final attempt, I believe.
Yes. Yep.
But some good efforts from him this afternoon.
Great series of high jumps there. or the whole field.
of the Heskett Center.
All right, coming up next will be the women's
And two-thirds.
600.
Yeah.
Record 1:20.62 by Nicole.
Yeah, we'll have, again, this two sections, two heats in this race. So you check out the lineup in the first heat will be Kylie Meyer from Wichita State, Honor Finley from the University of Kansas, Daisha Bullock from Wichita State. I think Daisha did some broadcasting with me last year, so.
I believe she did it yesterday.
And Alex
as well.
Ferguson from K-State. I've met a lot of terrific athletes getting the opportunity to do this, so just got to get me out there and running around. So.
There we go. And this is the 600 yard, which is a little bit different. So it's shorter than the 600 meter race that you'll run.
600 yards, so approximately we got a 200 meter track. I got to do some math here on the laps. Or is it even a lap?
It's I believe it's
Yeah,
three.
it's got to be at least one. Yeah.
3 and about a half a lap.
Yeah.
I think it's about.
Hey, we're going to update the team scoring right now as K-State back in the lead after those 400-meter runs, men and women. They have 129.5 points, but Wichita State right behind at 128. KU in third place, 89.5 points. So, in Wichita State, the Shockers making some moves after on the running events. As we get ready for the 600-yard. Now, is unique to indoor track and field, this event?
Yes, it is. You only run it indoor, and most Division I's won't run the 600 meter. They only have the 600 yard for reasons unknown to me.
Yeah, it's about 3 laps because it's going to be 548.64 meters on the 200-meter track. Yeah, I should probably do that. Be able to do that in my head, shouldn't I? Convert those. Again, we're starting off the women on the 600-yard run.
It's about 2 3/4 laps, I'd say.
Talk about this being a unique event to indoor track and field. How different is it? I mean, what's it compared to on the outdoor?
It's a little bit more stressful and more straining than the 400, but not quite so much as the 8. It's more of a sprint, but it's just sprinting for a little bit longer than a 400. So it's kind of an uncomparable event. It's very difficult in its own way.
From your perspective as a decathlete, a heptathlete, what is the most difficult running event?
Oh, it all depends on the athlete. For a lot of people, it would be the 400, being speed endurance, having a balance of both speed and endurance.
Now, most people, I ask that question a lot, and most of the time I hear 800. So
it's kind of a 400 on another level as well. It's a very strategic event once you get into the upper level running of it, as far as how to control the field to your advantage. Here we got the 600 yard.
400 or 4 athletes in this, and that's Alex Ferguson in the far left. She was in first for K-State. But now we've got some movement being made here. KU taking the lead. That is for the University of Kansas. Honor Finley wearing the number 4. And right behind her is Alex Ferguson. Daisha Bullock for Wichita State in third.
I believe they do a full lap before they have the advantage to cut in.
Kylie Meyer, she's in fourth place. But we've got a close battle at the top between KU and K-State right now, as that is Honor Finley, Alex Ferguson from K-State, trying to chase her down. So coming to the final turns.
Coming off toward the straight to the finish here.
Finley in the lead for KU, stretching out her advantage now. She comes down the straightaway here.
Finishing very strong.
Honor Finley takes the honors. Daisha Bullock finishes third in this heat for Wichita State. And finishing in fourth there is Kylie Meyer from Wichita State. So Honor Finley, the time of 1:22.23, finishing first in this heat. And Alex Ferguson from K-State, second. Bullocks from Wichita State, 126.46. So we got one more heat coming up. We have three runners in this second heat of the 600-yard run. As an update on the scoring, Wichita State back in the lead now, 137. K-State 136.5 and KU 95.5. So the Shockers trying to maintain a lead here as these running events continue.
It's kind of a back and forth battle here, you know, with only a half-point lead, and then when K-State goes up, it's only a couple points. But
again, we talked about this early coming into this triangular. K-State certainly has the advantage in the field events, especially in the jumping events, always so tough. And they did get out to the early lead, but Wichita State is caught up with the running events. KU will probably gain some points later with the sprints and some other long distance, or the relays, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
But Wichita State trying to perhaps have the most balanced attack in this triangular. But again, this is the second of two heats in the 600-yard run. And for the University of Kansas in lane 4 on your right, that is Kadibra Calcoti, Maria Romero for Wichita State in lane 5, and Pippa Early for K-State. Three runners on the 600-yard run.
And again, staying in their lane for a full lap here and then having the opportunity to cut in.
Pippa Early out to the early lead for K-State. Kind of set that one on a tee for me, didn't she? But now she is passed by KU's Kadibra Kakoti. Wichita State's Maria Romero, a distant third now.
They are.
Now Early's back out to that lead. Pippa Early.
200 meters left here in the race.
Maria Romero trying to close the gap a little bit for Wichita State. It's Pippa Early on the back straightaway, but here it comes for KU. Calcoti, I should say. Kadibra Calcoti from Kansas has taken the lead, and now she's really stretching it out there. She had a good kick there coming down that front straightaway.
Very good finish. Very good finish.
And she takes this heat. Pretty comfortable distance.
126.89.
Calcott is a proper pronunciation, I am told. Calcott. Kadibra Calcott from the University of Kansas, 126.89. Pippa Early from Kansas State finishes second. And Maria Romero in third. So that completes the women's 600-yard run as we watch more triple jump action. K-State athletes into the sand. It's coming up next on the running events will be the men's 600-yard. And we'll again have two sections in this one.
And it's called back.
Well, they're already getting ready to start. It kind of caught me off guard. It's there on the far side on the back straightaway. Let's see what we got there. But let me do the rundown here for you. Morris Wynn from Wichita State will be in lane 3. Cody Johnson from the University of Kansas in lane 4. Jake Horst from Wichita State in lane 5. And Antoni Small-Hoyts from K-State in lane 6. Let's see if we lost anybody there, though.
Lane 5 is Jake Horst from Wichita State, who was third in the American Conference Heptathlon.
I don't see Jake Horst lined up for this race. I don't think we lost him there. I think he wasn't lined up in the initial lineup.
PA announcer Don Steffen did announce his name, Jake Horst, because he finished third in the heptathlete American Conference, but
yes.
Not in this race, and we're off and running. So it's just going to be three runners.
Here's Morris Wynn, a former Cali College down in Arkansas City.
Arkansas City.
Yes.
Come on, you're a Kansan. As they come down this front straightaway right by us, all even, really.
He's actually my roommate currently, and we met each other first running this event against each other, the 600-yard.
Morris Wynn. Cali Tiger Right now in the
Settling
lead is Hoyt Small,
It's a tight group here.
K-State. With Morris Wynn right behind him, and now into the lead for KU is Cody Johnson. Cody Johnson takes the lead. Now he's going to try to stretch it a little bit. Coming around those turns is a little tricky, though. You're right about this, the indoor
Yes.
track, a little tighter. Some time can be made up. But Cody Johnson in the lead right now with K-State's Hoyt Small right behind him. Hoyt Small trying to make the move, and Hoyt Small from K-State will finish in first. Cody Johnson second, and Morris Wynn in third from Wichita State.
Morris is coming off a cross-country season. He's lacking some speed, more endurance-oriented training currently.
Antonio Hoyt Small there, you see him with his time, and 1:14.09, and getting a little refreshment after that strong run from him.
That was a good finish there.
And the Section 2 coming up now, the second heat of the 600-yard men's race. And we're going to have two K-Staters and a KU. No Wichita State runners in this section. It'll be Kyle Parr from K-State, lane 4. Gabriel Liu from K-State, and Xavier Wolf from the University of Kansas.
Here they are at the line. They're off.
Kind of a quiet gun that time, it seemed like, as they are off and running. And again, kind of gets settled here after that those first turns.
Kansas State athlete and KU athlete off too.
Yeah, it's Gabriel Lube in the lead. Right behind him, though, Xavier Wolf trying to chase him down. Check, I think it's Kyle Parr out front. Nope, wait. That is Gabriel Lube. Gabriel Lube out front for K-State in the headband there. Right behind him, though, from KU is Xavier Wolf. Wolf trying to chase him down.
Here they go, one lap left. You can see him fatiguing.
Looks like Wolf's
through
going
these
to take the lead here coming around that turn 1, and he does. The Jayhawk in the
Fighting
lead.
those curves. Very difficult running in here.
Gabriel Lube now trying to take back that lead as they coming into the final turns. And now Gabriel Lube in the lead from K-State and really stretching it out in the final turn. Coming down the stretch.
Very good finish. Very good finish.
Gabriel Lube, and how about that? K-State finished 1 and 2 in that heat. As Kyle Parr, I think, finished second. Yes, he did. And Wolf kind of struggled at the end and fell back to third. He led most of that race.
1:14.90 winning the heat there. With Kyle. I'm sorry, Gabriel.
Parr.
Gabriel winning that.
Kyle Parr finished second. Kyle
Yes.
Parr, a Kansas kid. He's from Rossville.
Oh, really? One of the 115 Kansas athletes here.
118.
18.
Now, they're not all here, I'm sure. That's on the rosters.
rosters.
Yes.
On rosters.
And again, Wichita State with the most Kansans on their roster, which not surprising. Steve Rainbow's done a terrific job of mining, I think, the small town athletes in the state of Kansas. And that's one thing I like about track and field. And I almost kind of wish in the state track and field some of the smaller guys could compete, because if you're fast, you're fast. Doesn't matter if you're big school, small school.
Right.
Of course, the reason they have the classifications is the team totals. As speaking of, K-State back in the lead, 150.5 points. Wichita State, though, right behind, 149, as they've been really going back and forth during these running events. KU lurking behind, though, in third, 112.5.
A notable high school that Rainbow tells me is quite a great place is Cheney High School.
Ah, yes. Cheney's got a great track and field program. They have the vertical stripe uniforms, the red and blue, and when you go to the state track and field, you can always see Cheney. They stand out. It's kind of, that's right, Hunter Veef, the All-American. Wichita State's from Cheney. Those uniforms, I bring this up a bit, they remind me of the old, the pink and light blue uniforms KU wore. And the reason they did that, there was I've told this story several times, there was a photo finish race one time KU had, and they did not win. They were overruled, and the coach, I believe, was Bob Timmons at the time. So we're not going to let that happen again. We're going to get distinctive uniforms so they can see us.
Perfect.
And at first, people made fun of them, but they were so good, they became a tradition. And
Trademark in that.
KU does have a great track and field tradition. They have won 6 NCAA championships, national championships. 3 of those indoor, 2 outdoor for the men, or 3 outdoor for the men, and 3 indoor for the men. And the women, most recently in 2013, won the NCAA championship. So some of the greatest track and field athletes in American history from the University of Kansas, going back to Jim Ryan and Al Orta. Jim Ryan, of course, from Wichita East. Still owns the mile record at Cessna Stadium, which always amazes him. He broke 4 minutes.
Stood for quite a long time.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's going to do that. Of course, they don't run the mile anymore, but some special events. I think Carl Lewis even has a long jump record over at Cessna Stadium,
I believe
too.
that's
so
right.
It's pretty amazing, the tradition that's run through Wichita. All right, we're getting ready for the women's 60 meters.
We got some Wichita State athletes getting ready.
Another quick race here, 60 meters. 6 athletes in this first heat. Sydney Sapp for Wichita State's in lane 2. Morgan Mukes from Kansas in lane 3.
This event is another, in the heptathlon, I'd say an advantage for me in the field.
So you're fast.
I try to be.
Kamisha Chambers from K-State. Tania McMillan from Wichita State. And Jetta Caldwell from the University of Kansas. See Sydney Sapp there near lane 2 for Wichita State to your right.
I think she won the high jump competition earlier. The jump of 5'8" or so.
As we will update you with the team totals here in a second. K-State stretching out the lead a little bit. But right now, this is the first heat of or only heat actually, the women's 60 meters. And that is just one heat, one race.
Very close finish there.
That was a quick one. And it will be Caldwell from the University of Kansas with 7.56 winning. And Sydney Sapp comes in third for Wichita State. By the way, the team, so we're going to check out the replay there, is really close at the end. Have the other times up. And, oh, my.
Wow.
That was, yeah, I thought that was close to the naked eye. It's even closer
To the cameras.
on
yeah.
the cameras. Wow. So that's the 60 meters for the women. And let's update you on the team totals right now as K-State has stretched its advantage 161.5 points right now. Wichita State in second place at 152. KU now 119.5. There's the times as K-State ended up winning that race. That was the young lady from KU did. K-State 7.57. Caldwell from KU at 7.58. Chambers from K-State at 7.59. So,
Oh, man, top 3.
yeah,
there,
they
very
actually
close.
had to recalibrate that, I think, after the photo finish.
I think so.
There's your team totals again. K-State stretching its advantage a bit here after a couple of running events. The 60 meters and the 600-yard run put them out to the lead.
Here we go.
As now we get ready for the 60-meter men. And we're going to have 2 heats in this race. Boy, really lopsided couple of heats. We got 6 runners in the first heat, 2 in the second. And let's check the rundown here. We got Nate Hassed from K-State in lane 1. Joseph Holthusen from Wichita State in lane 2. Clifford Robinson from KU in lane 3. Julane Walker from K-State. Keep an eye on him. He's a good one. Denver Griffin from Wichita State. And Javon Reese from KU in lane 6.
Should be a really good field here.
And Joseph Holthusen, we saw him early win 60-meter hurdles. Now the 60-meter run, he's in lane 2 for Wichita State. But I've heard a lot about Walker, Julane Walker from K-State, lane 4. We'll keep an eye on him.
Quite a fast seed time there.
And he comes in with a seed time of 6:66. Whoa. That's evil.
Devilishly fast.
And he's in lane 4. This should be a fast race. And now Walker raising his hand up.
He calls a reset.
Now, why would he do that?
To call a reset,
Just-
he didn't.
Did it feel comfortable?
Must not have felt like his blocks were where he wanted.
And there's your lineup. Heskett, Holthusen, Robinson, Walker, Griffin, and Reese. Six athletes in this 60-meter men's. First of 2 sections. Certainly we expect our winners to actually come out of this heat. Their seat times are very good. They're getting set to go here. The gun is up. The runners, though, still not in their blocks. Always getting loose.
Yes.
Always getting loose. And Joseph Holthusen in there in lane 2 for Wichita State.
It's like the first one to be
Griffin
set
for
and ready.
Wichita State in lane 5. But Jolene Walker, lane 4, coming right down the middle there for K-State.
Like
I would assume has to be the favorite in this heat. So they are up and ready to go. Here they come. Walker out to the lead. Jolene Walker, but it's a close one.
Gets away.
And it looks like Wichita State came in second there. Denver Griffin. Good race for him.
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
Let's see what the times on that one were.
He has a personal best of just under 6.8.
Walker at 6.74. Griffin, Wichita State 6.91. Holthusen, Wichita State 7 even. So it's a good race there for Wichita State, picking up some team points together.
Yeah, great. 2 out of the top 3 in the heat of 6.
And chasing down K-State as we can update you again on the team scores. K-State now 170.5 points. Wichita State 155. So the Wildcats continuing to stretch out their advantage. KU in 3rd place at 129.5 points. Joseph Holthusen again, a big smile on his face as he finished 3rd in that heat. And we got one more heat to go.
I do believe his goal was to break 7 seconds, and he went 7.00. So
we only have 2 runners in this second heat, and it's going to be Vihan Alcorn from the University of Kansas. Or are we going to have a second heat? I don't see anybody. Oh, here they
there
come.
he is, yeah.
And also Richard Sandifer from Wichita State. So it's 1 Shocker, 1 Jayhawk in this second heat.
Head-to-head.
Of the men's 60 meters. It's a match race.
The team points, I believe, are going to be close like this all the way to the end, I think.
I think every year in this event it's been that way. It really comes down to the finish, and it gets very exciting toward the finish if it's close. And
comes down to each event and how individual does, so it's kind of a lot of pressure on individual shoulders.
All right, we're set to go with this final section of the men's 60 meters. Alcorn from KU, Richard Sandifer from Wichita State. Pretty simple, 1 and 2. I would assume when there's just 2 runners, getting off to a great start here is even more important. But
yes,
Richard Sandifer out to the lead for Wichita State, and
really
it will
well.
be Richard Sandifer. See if he can get some
see if he can
placement
get
in
the
there
top
and get
3
some more
there.
points for Wichita State. Richard Sandifer wins that second section of the 60 meters for the men's. 7:09.
7:09.
He edges Alcorn from KU. The women's 800 meters is coming up next. So, and again, I update you on the team scores. K-State in the lead, 170.5 points. Wichita State, second place, 155. KU 129.5. So that's one thing I like about the triangular. it's easy to kind of keep up what's going on. It's fun to do that. As we get ready for the women's 800 meters, we're going to take a break here at the Heskett Center. We'll be back with more right after this.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Number 10 in the Big 12. Two behind junior. He finished sixth at the American Conference Indoor Championships in Michigan, as well as outdoor strength. Four will be Kansas State Junior, Arthur 203, 5, Tekla, Wichita State freshman.
And back here at the Heskett Center on the campus of Wichita State, it is the KUK State, Wichita State Triangular, and the start of the women's 800 meter. I'm Leon Liebel, now joined by a new partner in the broadcast booth, Zach Morris. Zach, good to have you here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Glad to be aboard.
And it has been a fun event to watch all these athletes, and with the running events is making things close with the team scoring now. Again, K-State had a lead, 170.5 points. Wichita State in second place, KU in third. Again, it's men and women all together. All these points count in the team totals in this triangular. As once again, we are off with the 800 meters, and we'll try to get you a rundown here. As it is Jana Shaver from the University of Kansas, Macy Hines from K-State, Yasmin Wright from Wichita State, Kaylee Hume from Kansas State, Sharon Kiprop from Wichita State, and Gianni McDowell from the University of Kansas. So we've got 6 runners in this 800-meter race, 4 laps around the 200-meter track. And in that lead is Macy Hines from Kansas State. A pretty big lead here early in this race, as we've got 1 lap to go. Macy Hines, there's the bell. Bell lap is underway, the final lap. And it's K-State 1 and 2 as Macy Hines continues to stretch out the lead.
She most certainly does. She does have a nice 20 to 30 meter lead at this point in the race.
It's always interesting on these middle long distance races, people's strategies. Some get out to the early lead and fall back. She got out to the early lead and continues to pick up steam.
She sure did, and that's going to propel her to a victory in this women's 800 meter.
Macy Hines crosses the finish line a comfortable distance over her teammate. That is Kaylee Hume, finishes second. And Yasmin Wright for Wichita State will finish third. So with K-State in that lead team total, they pick up 12 points there as they finish 7 and 5. It's 7 points for first place, 5 for second. Yasmin Wright will give Wichita State 4 points, finishing in third. So, Zach, how you doing? Introduce yourself a little bit. We kind of joined right in the action there. Sorry about that.
Oh, I'm doing fine. It's a nice day outside, a little bit nicer than yesterday. We had a good time doing the prelude yesterday and seeing all the colleges that were running out here, even though some of them were some of the community colleges within the area. It still was some good races, and it was fun to be a part of. So I'm glad to be able to join you here today and look forward to more exciting races this afternoon.
That's right. The prelude yesterday for here at the Heskett Center, Wichita State, and a lot of the smaller colleges, junior colleges, as you mentioned, were here. And I think Emporia State won the team title yesterday. Wichita State finished second. A lot of athletes running unattached, though, for Wichita State. And kind of not their main team is obviously competing today. So, but it was a great warm up to this event. Always a terrific event, this triangular. And again, you just joined us. This is the 6th annual K-State Wichita State Triangular. They alternated every year between Lawrence, Manhattan, and Wichita State. So since this is the 6th one, this is only the second time it's been here at the Heskett Center. Last time was in 2017. KU has won the event 3 times, K-State twice, Wichita State still trying to break into the win column here as we get ready now for the men's 800 meters. I'll give you a rundown on that. It's Travis Hodge from K-State, lane 1. Quanah Gardner from University of Kansas, young man from Ashland, Kansas. He's in lane 2. Marcus Query from the University of Kansas. Jack Thomas from K-State. Adam Moore from Wichita State. We saw Adam win the mile run earlier today for Wichita State. Josh Cable also from Wichita State. And Matt Harding from the University of Kansas. So it's a full complement of 7 athletes in this 800-meter race. 4 laps around the 200-meter track here at the Heskett Center. It's Matt Harding in second place trying to chase down Jack Thomas from K-State as 1 lap is complete, and already they're on the back straightaway going into turn 3 and 4.
Thomas trying to follow suit as his fellow female runner from the women's 800 meter has a nice lead going into that second to last lap now.
Travis Hodge now out to the stretch in the lead for K-State. Boy, Hodge really putting the kick in over there on the back straightaway as you see him coming down to the turn 3 and 4. Travis Hodge, Kansas State University. Trying to keep up that fast pace. 1 lap to go as we got the bell ringing here at the Heskett Center. Wichita State, though, now in second place, as that is Josh Cable. A distant second, though, right now, as Travis Hodge is really stretching it out for the Wildcats.
He sure is, and it does look like Hodge will win pretty comfortably in this men's 800-meter race.
And he does as he crosses the finish line of time of just around 1:53. Wichita State, though, of a second-place finish. That's Josh Cable. As we'll check the final, there it is. Hodge with 1:52.24. Cable, Wichita State, 1:56.63. And from the University of Kansas, that's Marcus Query, finishing in third place. Travis Hodge with an impressive race there for the Kansas State Wildcats, winning the 800 meters. As, man, about halfway through, he got the lead, never looked back.
Sure did, and he was very comfortably in first place throughout the start all the way to the finish, never really in doubt or in danger of losing the lead at any point during that men's 800.
So, Zach, you're a student at Wichita State?
Yes, I am a student, currently graduate student, looking to get my master's at the moment, and a part of Shockwave Digital Network, which is a student-affiliated sports network that we've started here on campus.
And you want to be a broadcaster?
That's the goal.
Okay. Well, hopefully you can learn something from one of these other people around here. All right, we're getting ready for another running event here, the 1,000 meters. And this is from the women, of course, will start first. So we're going to have a 5-lap race here, 1,000 meters. We're going to have 6 runners in this one. I was trying to see if we have any changes in the team totals. Not right now, but in K-State out to lead, 190.5. Wichita State in second, 171. KU in third place, 137.5 points. All right, to set the race here for the 1,000 meters on the women's side, we have Addis Coppinger from the University of Kansas, Tally Hill from Kansas, and from Wichita State, Hallie Johnson, Cassidy Johnson from K-State, Rebecca Topham from Wichita State, and Hannah Stewart from K-State. Rebecca Topham already won the mile race for Wichita State. And there they go. And, you know, we talked about this in the mile race, in any race that Rebecca Topham, Zach, she likes to fall back early and then come from behind. We'll see if that's her strategy once again. And it looks like K-State will be 1-2 in the first lap. As that's Cassidy Johnson in first place, right behind her teammate, Hannah Stewart. And Rebecca Topham is second from last in this 6-runner race. But she is notorious for making that late kick. K-State 1 and 2, KU 3 and 4 in the race, and Wichita State bringing up the rear here. 2 laps complete, 3 to go. Tell you what, though, looks like the young lady from K-State, Cassidy Johnson, may be hard to catch. She's stretching out that advantage. It's coming around those back turns. 2 laps to go after they complete the front straightaway here. And this is the 1,000-meter race for the women. Cassidy Johnson in the lead with 2 to go, and Rebecca Topham now in third place, chasing down the young lady from K-State. That is Hannah Stewart. As there's your leader, though, Hallie Johnson, or check that, Cassidy Johnson. Hallie Johnson races for Wichita State. Cassidy Johnson in the lead.
Topham does seem to be starting to switch gears a little bit as she's starting to close in.
Is it too little too late with 1 lap to go? She is in second place. Let's see if Rebecca Topham can make a move. She's got a lot of ground to make up, though, as there's 1 lap to go. As
sure
Cassidy Johnson out to the lead, coming down that final straightaway. Rebecca Topham, let's see. Never count her out, but I'm not sure she's got enough real estate to catch up. Enough time in this race. So we're coming down the final turn and the final straightaway and the 1,000-meter run in the women's, and it will be Cassidy Johnson. Nice race for her, solid from beginning to end. Rebecca Topham finishes second for Wichita State. Meanwhile, coming in third is another K-Stater. That's Hannah Stewart. And finishing fourth is from KU is Tally Hill, as that completes. Wow, that's a, did I hear that right? That's her personal best?
I believe so.
Rebecca Topham in second, running the 1,000. Again, kind of a unique race. We don't see it a lot.
That was a trio of nice wins there for K-State, as I believe they've taken now the last 3, and they won all those races pretty comfortably, got out to nice leads, and kept them throughout the whole race.
Yeah, we talked about this a lot early, how K-State certainly has an advantage probably in the field events, especially in the jumping events. They're always so strong, and certainly they jumped out to an early team lead with those field events. And we thought maybe, well, Wichita State, KU would get back into it with the running events. Wichita State did take the lead momentarily, but yeah, the Wildcats coming up strong here in the last 4 running events. As we see the men's 1,000 meters getting set to go. And for on this 1,000 meter race in lane 1 from Wichita State, it'll be Jed Helker. Mel Obadiah from Wichita State in lane 2. Noah Stevenson from Kansas State. Jack Young from KU. Ethan Donnelly from Kansas. And also Hadley Splector from K-State. He'll be in lane 6.
Ethan Donnelly of KU running in lane 5. He ran his personal best.
And Zach, you're a native. Where are you from, Zach?
I am from Grand Junction, Colorado, but I have been now in Wichita, Kansas for around the last 12, 15 years. So
Terrific.
almost a native at this point.
Did you go to high school?
I did. I went to
Here?
Wichita Heights.
Wichita. Oh, you're a Falcon.
Yes, sir.
Great athletic tradition, of course, in Wichita Heights, and especially in basketball. As we're getting ready for the men's 1,000 meter race, we just had the women's, and they are off and running. And Jed Helker in the inside lane will be trying to make up a little distance on the stagger. And 5 laps here in the 200 meter indoor track. Coming into this race, Jack Young from Kansas had the best seat time at 2:27.77. But right now it's his teammate Ethan Donnelly in first place. University of Kansas. Pretty tight though, bunched up there as they start this second lap. In second place, Noah Stevenson from Kansas State. Jed Helker trying to make a move for Wichita State, coming from behind in the back of the pack there. He's in fourth place now as he continues to make a move. He may be moving up to third here now. 2 K-Staters in front of him. And that's Hadley Splector and Noah Stevenson. But in first place for KU, Ethan Donnelly.
And up to this point, this race is being run a lot tighter than the last couple that we've seen so far.
Very tight. So we got a new leader now. Noah Stevenson has taken the lead for Kansas State. But Jed Helker making a move for Wichita State. Jed Helker, there he is, in the number 1 tag on. He's in second place now, Jed Helker. The shocker. And we're nearing the final lap, the bell lap of this 1,000 meter men's race. Oh, this ought to be a fun one as we get down to the final lap. 2 Wildcats and a shocker sandwiched in between them. It's Jed Helker trying to make a move on that back straightaway. Can he take the lead? And he does. Jed Helker from Wichita State in the lead as they come around the final turns of this 1,000 meter race. Jed Helker trying to stretch out his advantage, trying to go one more kick. He's got Stevenson on his hip. It's going to be, though, Jed Helker for Wichita State. A little fist pump at the end there as he wins that 1,000 meter race. Nice run from him.
Yeah, started off a little bit behind and then was able to really make up some good time in that second to last lap, and coming around that final lap was able to make his move and was able to keep it all the way around the final turn and down the last straightaway. 2:29.12
is Jed Helker's time there as he won that. Again, Noah Stevenson finished second for Kansas State, so that gives Wichita State some more points on the team total, as they'll pick up 7 on that. Again, it's 7 points for first place. However, K-State in that lead, they picked up 5 points. And now we have a new update on the team totals. And K-State continues to stretch out that lead. 209.5 points. Wichita State 185. KU remains in third place at 148.5. It's going to be a finish to watch. It's going to be fun to watch.
That's for sure. We'll see if Wichita State can pick up that elusive first triangular victory here this afternoon.
And there's the brain trust of the Wichita State track and field program on your right. Steve Rainbolt in the white shirt, the head coach. His 21st year. John Wise, the man in the middle there, his arms crossed, and always so helpful to us on the broadcast. And Two terrific gentlemen that have done a terrific job here at Wichita State. As we were getting set for the 200 meters, going to speed it up a little bit for the women. There's Jed Elker. He's pretty happy. As we will have 4 runners in the first of 2 heats. Wuri Najido from Kansas State in lane 3. Sydney Sapp from Wichita State in lane 4. Kamisha Chambers from Kansas State in lane 5. And Jetta Caldwell from the University of Kansas. 200 meters. 1 lap, obviously, in the 200-meter race. Now, Zach, our director, Kurt Ryerson, and I were talking earlier. He was telling me who's going to be helping me here. And when I heard your name, Zach Morris, we had, Saved by the Bell jokes came right up. Are you familiar with that show?
Oh, I'm very familiar. That's kind of followed me ever since I hit high school, when teachers, I guess around that time would have been their show they were watching.
They kind of look at you suspiciously.
Yeah, that's right. So you're supposed to be in California or wherever that show was taking place out in that high school, not here in Kansas.
Yeah, we're still working on getting ready for the women's 200 meters. Once again, now we got a new update. Is that right? Or is that the same? No, we do have an update. 218.5 points now for K-State. 195 for Wichita State. The Wildcats really starting to stretch it out here as KU trying to get back in it. 150.5 points. KU, though, very strong in the sprints and also the relays, so they can make up some ground later this afternoon. Again, this is the KU K-State Wichita State Triangular, and it is a terrific event. And it's always great when you get Wildcats, Jayhawks, and the Shockers all at the same location at the same time. It's kind of a rare event. They don't compete in a lot of, baseball and certainly softball and those sports. We'd like to see them in basketball, but that's not happening right now. So
I believe that's Wichita State's every fan's dream is to get K-State and KU on the board.
Of course, to the point now, Wichita State's, I think, has elevated itself so much, its basketball program. I'm not sure they care as much as they used to, but still it'd be fun for, I think, the fans. But that's a whole other story. This is fun to have the Wildcats and Jayhawks and Shockers here. Again, this is the 6th annual Triangular. Always alternates between the 3 cities, 3 schools, Lawrence, Manhattan, and here in Wichita. Getting the track season really off and running competitive-wise. I think next week is the Jayhawk Classic at the Anschutz Pavilion at University of Kansas. Wichita State will be competing in that in Lawrence. Got a bit of a delay here as runners are ready to go. Now they're getting set. White flag is waving. John Weiss giving some last-second instructions to Sydney Sapp. Najado, Sapp, Chambers, and Caldwell. First of 2 sections, first of 2 heats here in the women's 200 meters. I'm not sure what the delay is. Now the K-State runner getting her shoes tied.
Always important.
Yes, it is. And we talked about we showed John Wise and Steve Rainbolt earlier. All 3 of these programs, veteran coaches at the helm. Steve Rainbolt in his 21st year. Stanley Redwine, the head coach, Kansas Jayhawks, now in his 20th season. He was a former Arkansas Razorback, tremendous runner for Arkansas. And Cliff Revelto, the head coach of K-State, in his 29th year. Revelto and Steve Rainbolt, by the way, both graduates of the University of Kansas, but now coaching against their alma mater. As we are about set to go for this first heat in the women's 200 meters. The starter's pistol is up, and we are about set to go. We get a clean start here. And they are off and running. It is a clean start. 200-meter dash. It's only one lap. You got to be quick. It's going to be coming down to K-State and KU. It's Najado, Kansas State. Jada Caldwell for KU on the far left. And it's going to be Caldwell finishing first place. And Kamisha Chambers actually finishing second for Kansas State. K-State also finishing in third, as there's your finals, 24.3. Jetta Caldwell from the University of Kansas. Sydney Sapp finishing fourth for Wichita State.
In section 2, Victoria Jefferson of Kansas in 3, Jackie Darby, Wichita State in 4.
As you see there, Caldwell crossing the finish line in first place. Got off the blocks very nicely to begin that race. And never really was in doubt for that much part. The K-State runner did push her a little bit at the end, but she was able to use that good start to be able to propel her to cross the finish line first in that race.
Well, we got one more heat left in the women's 200 meters, and it will be Zantori Dickerson in lane 3 for Kansas, Jackie Darby for Wichita State in lane 4, Morgan Mukes from the University of Kansas in lane 5, and Tania McMillan from Wichita State in lane 6, as you see the lineup right there. And they're still getting ready, as taking off the warm-ups. Big day here on the campus of Wichita State. Not only the triangular going on, we got a big basketball game across the way as University of Houston. A big American Conference matchup. Cougars in town to take on Wichita State Shockers. Shockers trying to bounce back from a 12-point loss at Temple Wednesday night. Again, it looks like we're taking a while to. We only have 2 runners in this race. It looks like we are.
It does appear so.
Wow. So, okay, we're down to 2 here. I'll double check. It's going to be a Shocker and a Jayhawk. And that is Tania McMillan for Wichita State. But she is falling behind. It's going to be close down this front straight, as that is Morgan Mukes from KU in the lead as they come down the final straightaway in his 200-meter race. And it's going to be Mukes from KU finishing first as she edges out Tania McMillan in just a 2-runner race. And that is the completion of the women's 200 meters.
Next up, the men's 200.
And that'll set up the men's 200 meters coming up next.
Men's 200 meter dash, Terrell Smith of K-State, the lead record holder at 2:21.27. The silver record by Ivana Blakely of the Shocker track at 21.46.
And we're going to have 2 heats in this race as well in the men's 200. Parker McCafferty from Kansas State will be in lane 3. Jace Kopic from Wichita State in lane 4. Nate Hassad from Kansas State in lane 5. And Ivan Henry from the University of Kansas in lane 6. Again, taking a while to get set up here. Let's make sure we got a full complement. Right now we just got 2 Wildcats out there. Now we get Jayhawk. And again, a lot of these competitors, because all 3 schools from Kansas, some of them are very familiar with each other. They competed in the state high school track and field.
Oh, yeah, most certainly. A lot of the local area high schools from Kansas City and Wichita, you're going to see a lot of names that you probably recognize, probably grew up in track club with, and are probably pretty good friends still to this day.
In fact, we've mentioned this earlier, there's 118 Kansans on these 3 rosters, and once again that breaks down Wichita State with the most Kansans, as they have 52, 37 in-staters for KU, 29 for K-State. And we do have our full complement here of the 4 racers. Again, McCafferty, Kopic, Wichita State, Hassad from K-State, Ivan Henry from KU in lane 6. First of 2 heats in the men's 200 meters. And this could be a fast one, but we got we're off to a clean start. No. Okay, I thought we had a false start, but nobody was stopping. So they finally do a little double gun here.
They just wanted to make sure before they did stop, it appears.
There's a lady down here holding her ears. There was all kinds of shots being fired. So a little loud. Let's see what we got here. If we have a false start or something else.
Looks like the official is reaching for some kind of a card. We'll know here shortly.
I'm not sure I saw anything there or not on the replay.
Looks like it may be issued towards the Kansas runner, McCafferty.
Is he McCafferty still?
Or excuse me, Henry.
It is a red card. And that may be Ivan Henry, and I think he must be a false start on Ivan Henry. No?
Nope.
It's a shocker. Henry still walking slowly. He had a long way to go. He's probably trying to conserve some energy. He was clear down halfway on the back straightaway before finally they shot the gun off again to stop this race. He was not aware of the false start. So Wichita State loses a runner. That's going to be Jace Kopic on the false start. So we're down to 3 runners now. That's going to be Parker McCafferty from K-State, Nate Assad from K-State, and Ivan Henry from KU. Always tough to see those, the false starts. It's just, talked about that earlier, and especially in really, well, not that this isn't a big event, but like the state track and field meet, and you see the young runner from all over Kansas, their dream to go to the state track and field, and then they get a false start. It's always tough. Kopic talking right now with the officials, see perhaps what he exactly did wrong. There he is, and he'll walk off the track. It's got to be disappointing for him. Disappointing for Wichita State. Again, they're trying to catch up. So we got an update on the scoreboard. K-State now 227.5 points. Wichita State 198. KU in third place, 160.5.
Yeah, just very unfortunate, like you mentioned, especially with Wichita State trying to gain some desperate points here in the late afternoon to try to catch K-State at this point. And mental errors like that, even though they're on accident, will cost you in these kind of events.
All right, we're left with 2 Wildcats and a Jayhawk now. Getting Nate Assad, Parker McCafferty for Kansas State, and Ivan Henry for the University of Kansas. And they are off and running in this 200-meter dash. Ivan Henry in the lead on the back straightaway. The Wildcats trying to chase him down. Ivan Henry with a nice stride coming around the final third on the outside lane. Ivan Henry, here he comes, and he will win the first heat of this 200 meters for the men. Nice race for Ivan Henry.
Didn't seem too affected after the infraction that we had beforehand. He was off to a good start at the beginning of that first one before that happened and was able to follow suit even after the restart.
Yeah, he ran almost 300 meter race because, again, he took off on that false start and went really strong down the back straightaway in that first race, not knowing there was a false start. So he had to do a little extra work there, but he was able to pick up the win for KU. And that's a rare victory for the Jayhawks in some of these running events this afternoon. Of course, there's plenty more to go. Especially KU does seem very strong, should be very strong in the sprint events, which the 200 meter is, and the relay events. So we're in the second heat of the men's 200 meters. And we will have Clifford Robinson, University of Kansas, Savion Alcorn from the University of Kansas, Ethan Fogel from KSU, and Richard Sandifer from Wichita State. So no Wildcats in this second heat. We had 2 in the last one. 3 Jayhawks and a shocker.
Good news for Wichita State if they want to try to climb that leaderboard, especially with no K-State runners. They may be able to make up a little ground here if he's able to win out.
Of course, you have to time-wise get into a better time than we saw in the first heat, since this is the second heat. But Richard Sandifer, we've seen him earlier today, and a nice performance. And looks like we got a little problem here of one of the starters blocks for one of the KU runners. That is Clifford Robinson in lane 3. And apparently we are, okay, it's going to be 2 Jayhawks in a shocker because Clifford, or check that, Ethan Fogel is not in this race. Ethan Fogel was scheduled but not in the race. So it's Clifford Robinson from Kansas, Alcorn from KU, and Richard Sandifer for Wichita State. 200-meter men's race, and this is the second of 2 heats. And here they go. Clean start. Sandifer trying to hold on to that lead, but it's going to be tough. He's got the Jayhawks coming from behind. Sandifer coming around that far side on the outside. Can Richard Sandifer hold on? And it is going to be the Jayhawks, as that is Alcorn from the University of Kansas, Savion Alcorn, 22.87. Sandifer finishes second for Wichita State, as that completes the men's 200 meters. Coming up next will be the women's 300 meters. As once again, K-State 227.5 points, Wichita State 198. That should be updated here pretty soon. KU in third place, 160.5. There's the current team standings, but that does not include the last event, as they're still trying to work out the times, I think, overall in the men's 200-meter race. Women's 3,000 meters coming up next. A little longer distance this time. So, Zach, we got a lot to talk about during this race.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, 15 laps around this track, this long distance race.
Yeah, the 3K on the indoor, especially here at the Heskett Center with the track being only 200 meters, it definitely seems like a lot longer of a race. We kind of touched on this yesterday, that the runners can feel maybe a little bit fatigued just because they look at that laps to go sign and it shows more than what you really think that it is.
Or on the flip side of that too, you're finishing your lap quicker. You may think it's quicker. I don't know. It's all the same distance, of course, but 15 laps. And we're going to have a full complement of 7 runners in this race. Women's 3,000. Lona Latima from the University of Kansas in lane 1. Winnie Koskai from Wichita State in lane 2. Always keep an eye on her. Abiba Sullivan from Wichita State in lane 3. Kara Melgares from Kansas State in lane 4. Lisa Lasky from the University of Kansas in lane 5. Sarah Scott from the University of Kansas in lane 6. And from K-State, Jay Shuffleberger in lane 7. So they are off and running, but again, this is a long one. 3,000 meters, 15 laps, and 2 K-Staters out front early, but Winnie Koskai in third place there. Again, so early to make any determinations right now. I've seen this time and time again. Winnie Koskai is amazing on these kind of races. Watching her in the outdoor events, she'll make a late kick. Again, she's the Wichita State Shocker there in third place.
The top 3 look to have pretty good pace right now as they get ready to enter into the 12th lap of the women's 3K.
Kara McCarrace from Kansas State leading the pack, but it's very tight. Her teammate, Jay Shuffleberger, right behind her. And then it's Winnie Koskai from Wichita State. Two KU runners, though, pretty far behind the pack right now. And update you on the team totals, which are now have been updated after the 200-meter events. K-State now leads 232.5 points. Wichita State in second place, 30.5 points behind, as they are now 202. And KU continues to be in third place at 172.5 points. So there's your team totals, as we have, including this race, 3 more events. We have the women's 3,000 meters, the men's 3,000 meters, and then the men and women's 4x400, which I'm kind of looking forward to because that is a combination of men and women. 2 men, 2 women for each team.
Yeah, that'll be a very exciting race when that one takes place here later this afternoon.
That's something they brought in just 2 years ago here at the KU K-State Wichita State Triangular. Our lineup continues to be the same here as we still are on, well, we got 4 laps to go, or 11 laps to go, 4 complete.
The runners probably wish they had 4 laps to go.
And Kara McGillis, K-State. Shuffleberger, her teammate, in second place. And Winnie Koskai, right behind him, along with her teammate, Abiba Sullivan. 2 Wildcats, 2 Shockers, very much bunched, very closely bunched up in that front of the pack. So the KU runners in distance 5, 6, 7. Just from past experience, I'm going to say Winnie Koskai is going to make a strong move here in the last lap. Okay, we'll see if I'm right, Zach.
I'll take your word for it.
Well, I wouldn't do that. Okay, 9 laps to go. 9 of 15, and now Winnie Koskai is in second place. This is not the move, though, I would be talking about. I think it's more of a case of Shuffleberger just falling back from K-State. Shuffleberger. As Kara Melgares from K-State continues to be in the lead, number 4. Winnie Koskai, and now in third place is Wichita State's Abiba Sullivan. Shuffleberger continues to fade perhaps here for K-State into 4th. We'll come down to the lap 7 being complete. 8 laps to go.
Now Sullivan up in the 3rd, past Shuffleberger.
And Wichita State, in order to catch K-State, again, they're 30.5 points down. I'm not positive what they can do that or not mathematically, but I know one thing, they would need a really strong performance in this race at least. And they have a chance to finish 1 and 2 if Sullivan and Koskai can make a move here, but still plenty of race to go.
It will be a tall task for Wichita State to be able to catch up to K-State, but like you just said, they do have the opportunity in this race to maybe go 1-2. It still seems to be that bunched up group, as now we do see a little bit of separation starting to happen as
Winnie Koskai again chasing down the leader there. Not really chasing, just kind of keeping pace with her behind her. That's why I expect her to make a move on the last lap.
she has positioned herself well to do so.
As we have 6 laps to go, 9 laps down as they cross the start finish.
Going home now. Shuffleberger now back up into 3rd, past Sullivan.
1,200 meters left in this race. In the KU runners, not really a factor at all in this All three are way well behind. In fact, one of them may be in danger of being lapped. Again, it's K-State's Kara Magaris in first place. She has led the entire race. Winnie Koskai, right behind her. Koskai, I can tell, just trying to keep pace here. Stay close. 5 laps to go.
80 seconds on the previous one.
Again, the KU runner there, number 5, that is Lisa Lasky. She's maybe lapped here pretty soon. And now Winnie Koskai has taken the lead. Not quite the final kick I was talking about. As they do have 4 more laps to go. Winnie Koskai, terrific performer, terrific athlete for Wichita State. Winnie Koskai is now stretching her lead. She actually may not need that dramatic kick I was looking for. As she just is kind of gradually pulling away now.
She most definitely is. She had very good pace at the beginning of the race, and looks to be running rather relaxed, and now is starting to separate herself from first to second.
Winnie Koskai in the lead as there is three laps to go in this 3,000-meter race. Diva Sullivan has fallen behind for Wichita State. There's Winnie. Winnie Koskai stretching out the lead, the advantage. Barring any unforeseen circumstances, I think she's going to be on her way here. She's running steady as she goes. Again, no dramatic kick needed, really.
Not this time.
2 laps to go, though. She does have a tendency, though, to pick up the speed on those final laps. See if she does that just to improve her time. She'll have a chance to give her team a valuable 7 points. She wins this race. Winnie Koskai about to lap another KU runner. 3,000 meters, obviously not the Jayhawk strength there. 1 lap to go for Winnie Koskai. Let's see if she picks it up even more. She's getting encouragement and her teammates on that back straightaway, but it looks like she's going to keep it steady. No need to do anything drastic here.
And as she reaches the final turn of the women's 3K, she has run a very, very good race up to this point, barring some unforeseen injury.
This is a solid race for Winnie Koskai. Here she comes down the. Has won this race. Looked like a time of about 9:50 something, but we'll check that. As from K-State, it will be Kara Magaris in second place, a distant second, but still. She picks up 5 points for her team. And I think K-State finished third as well. But well, Zach, I enjoyed being with you on the broadcast, and I guess Tanner Brown's going to step back in for some one of the final events here. So,
thanks for having me. It was a blast.
Well, we enjoyed it.
Hopefully
good luck
we can
with everything.
Meet down sometime down the road.
All right, Zach. Take care.
You do the same.
Yes, Tanner Brown will be coming back to join us. Wichita State decathlete. Did we get the times on there? I didn't. Koskai 9:49.4. It was Shuffleberger who finished second for K-State. Magaris finished third. So even though Koskai won that race and picked up 7 points for her team, K-State finishing second and third. That's big for the Wildcats. Tanner, how you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having me back.
And again, there's that was the latest 232.5, 202. Wichita State 172.5, and then that does not include
without
the women's
the
3,000
race.
And I think we're going to have 241.5 for
So ready now for
K-State, and that should be 239.
Wichita State at 8:14.
Is there a chance?
With only the 4x4 left.
Actually, I said 239, 209. Well, we got the 3,000 meter men, and then of course the men and women's 4x400.
I think we'll need an official update before we really know what.
You know, we talked about the balance of Wichita State. We perceived that to be their strength coming into this, and it is. But K-State may have surprised some people with their balance in this. I mean, they're not only strong in the field events, but they've come on strong here in the running events.
Yes, they had a really good field in sprinters and distance there.
Who we got there for Wichita State? Let's see.
Ducicek.
There we go.
It's Clayton Ducicek.
I wanted you to pronounce that. All right, Clayton Ducicek for Wichita State. Ethan Kossover for Wichita State. George Lutner from Kansas. John Luter from KU. And David Lutkin from Kansas State. Chandler Gibbons from the University of Kansas. And Cooper Schroeder for K-State. As those are your 7 athletes competing in the men's 3,000 meters. We just saw the women's. It's 15 laps around the track here at the Heskett Center.
Pretty solid field here. That Kansas athlete has the #1 seed time, a couple of no-time seeds in there. So we'll just have to see how their break training went.
You talked about you as a multi-event athlete, and the speed events seem to be your strength. What about long distance? Is that hard? I mean, if you're a speed guy,
it's difficult, but if you know how to run and have good mechanics, it comes a lot easier to you than others.
Is it difficult to learn just pacing and things of that nature?
Yeah, it's kind of tough. If you come out too hot, you'll figure out pretty quick that you're going to run out of gas. So you really gotta learn how to hit times and just maintain a solid pace.
Well, we're down to the final events here of this triangular. This is the men's 3,000 meters. Only thing left, the men and women's 4x400, which I think might be kind of fun because men and women competing, 2 from each team.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome to see a little bit of the mix of the balance from both teams, the men and the women.
Well, we're off and running here in the men's 3,000. And we got 3 Jayhawks, 2 Wildcats, and 2 Shockers in this race. And 2 Jayhawks from the University of Kansas out to the early lead. Again, never assume anything in these races until it comes down to the nitty-gritty.
Right.
But right now in the lead is John Luter from KU. His teammate, David Lutkin, or check that, Chandler Gibbons in second place.
From what I know, the Wichita State guys had a really good offseason. So coming out of cross country, I think they trained well and they're ready for this indoor season. So. By
the way, John Luter has the best seed time coming into this race from KU, 8:16.9, and nobody really even close to that. Of course, we're not sure so early in the indoor season what that means, but Luter is obviously capable. All blue at the top, front of the pack in this 3,000 meter race.
Here we have Clayton surging up in the middle of the pack there, trying to find his way from the back.
Ducicek, is that right? I got that right?
Yes.
Clayton Ducicek. In 4th place for Wichita State, but the pack is very tight, very bunched up. As we are just underway, really, this 3,000 meter men's race. Got 3 laps down, 12 to go. Long way to go.
Still pretty solid pack there. Everyone's heel to toe. Clayton seeming to be the only one making a move there.
As he is now in second place.
And our teammate there, Ethan Kossover, is moving up as well.
Yeah, we got Shockers now 2 and 3. And again, they would love to pick up some much-needed points here down to the final events. As we do have an update on the scores, 241.5 now for K-State, 212 for Wichita State, 175.5 for KU.
The margin is increasing between second and first place, but
Boy, I don't know. My math, I have to figure this one out. I just don't think there's a chance on that.
I think they may have it.
It's been an impressive day for the Kansas State Wildcats. As again, we've 5 laps down here in the 3,000 meters.
Wichita State sitting in second and fourth amongst some KU athletes.
So much strategy in a race like this, I assume. I mean,
Yes. Yeah, a lot of them will sit, and one guy can control the pace of the entire race. If
we kind of saw that in the women's race with Winnie Koskay. You just knew she was holding back, staying back most of the race, and then eventually just pulled away. She had too much in the tank.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, she's probably even a little mad because she probably thinks her time could be faster if she sat too long and didn't really attack.
I mentioned it several times in that race. I expected her to really make a strong kick, like maybe the last lap, because I've seen her do that before, but she really didn't have to, and it was just a gradual pulling away.
Here we go, Shocker overtaking the field.
Yeah, Clayton Dukacek. Glad I learned how to pronounce his name right. He's in first place. And we have a trio of Jayhawks right behind him, and now the Jayhawk takes the lead, and that is Chandler Gibbons. Chandler Gibbons now in first place as we have 7 laps down, 8 to go. And now it's George Lettner in the lead. George Lettner from KU.
Really
Keep
creating
track
some
of all
space.
the men in blue. And now we got a Wildcat coming up strong. That is David Lutkin from K-State in third place, trying to chase down Dukacek from Wichita State.
One of each up the front there.
It's crimson and blue in the lead, black and yellow in second, and purple in third. David Lutkin trying to make a strong run down that back straightaway.
Still quite some race to go yet.
This will be 9 laps down as they come toward the final front straightaway. 6 laps to go. 6 laps to go. A lot of racing left. Very bunched up. All but one runner is involved in this race. KU runner way back.
I think with a lot of these races, it's just trying to stay in touch with the pack for some guys, and then just make their move when they feel like they're in a position to really score for a place.
Well, speaking of making a move, now we got 2 K-Staters and 1 and 2, and boy, that would really put this thing away team-wise. Those guys stay up there. Cooper Schroeder now in the lead with his teammate David Lutkin behind him. There
They
they are,
really
2
picked up the pace
Wildcats. Yeah. And now for KU in third is place. That's Chandler Gibbons. The Wildcats taking the lead 1 and 2.
KU making a move, coming up into the lead. 4 laps to go.
4 laps. This one kind of gets interesting. You know, David Lutkin looked familiar to me. The young man from K-State. He's in third place now. I watched him, I think, win at the state track and field meet. He's from Beloit, Kansas. He's in 4th place now.
Right, yeah, that's in my league, Russell, Kansas, the NCAA high school league, North Central Athletic.
And if I remember right, watching him, he had a pretty good final kick. But we've got 3 laps to go. 3 laps to go in this 3,000-meter race. And it is still very, very bunched up at the front. Chandler Gibbons from KU in the lead. Look at Jed Helker there, on the right
Yep.
side. He's not racing. He's
Trying
just
to get him motivated.
cheering his teammates on. As Dukacek continues to stay strong, he's in second place. The Wildcats in third and fourth.
I think here in the last couple laps is where we'll see a little bit more definitive someone taking control of the race here.
2 laps to go. 2 laps to go, and it is Chandler Gibbons in first place for the University of Kansas. Clayton Dukacek in second, but how about David Lutkin?
Yep.
I talked about the kid. He's got the kick, and there he takes the lead. How about that? I've seen that before. David Lukin from K-State, young man from Beloit. Can he hold on to the lead as he takes the lead with 1 lap to go? However, now Chandler Gibbons regains the advantage. This is going to be a sprint to the finish here if anybody's got anything left.
Fight for the top 3 here.
My.
Top 4.
Chandler Gibbons trying to put something in gear, and he is stretching the lead.
Wichita State in the second, now in the third.
But now the other Wildcat trying to chase him down. And that's Cooper Schroeder. And as he looks behind to see where Schroeder's on his back, it's going to come down to this. Schroeder trying to chase down Chandler Gibbons, and Gibbons wins at the end. Wow, what a race for him.
Quite a fight.
And Schroeder finishes second. Woo. There it is. Chandler Gibbons, 8:32.96. Schroeder from Kansas State. That's Cooper Schroeder. He finished 8:33.05. Dukacek ran a nice race all the way for Wichita State, finishing a strong third position. David Lutkin, who showed that kick I talked about, I think he maybe a little too much. Lost some gas.
Maybe.
Just
he made early season.
He made it exciting. That was a good race. That was fun to watch. So that's the 3,000-meter race, and I think we can probably safely say that K-State's going to win this team title, as they'll add to their totals there with second place finish, KU in first. So that'll give K-State another 5 points. So we see the athletes there. Again, that's the scoring, not including that last race, but K-State with a pretty good advantage there, 241.5 points. Wichita State 212, KU 175.5.
There's quite a difference in all 3 teams here.
So impressed with K-State's performance today. So consistent across the board, really, from the beginning of the field events all the way to these running events.
They did seem to have someone kind of stand out in every event area.
All right, we got a little time left before a final event. Now, again, will be the 4x400 meter. That's a mixed relay. That features 2 men, 2 women competitors for each team. And with the break in the action, we're going to take a break. We'll be back with more at the Heskett Center at Wichita State right after this.
we'll see who they pick.
And back here at the Heskett Center on the campus of Wichita State University, one more event to go here in the KU K-State Wichita State Triangular. Again, I'm Leon Liebel. It's been my pleasure to be on the broadcast with Tanner Brown, the decathlete here for Wichita State. And this final event is somewhat unique in track and field. They just instituted this event 2 years ago in the Triangular, and that is a 4x400 involving both men and women. And Tanner, can you take us through this a little bit?
Well, I mean, 2 times around the track for each runner. I think they're going to go from a woman lead leg, handing off to a woman. Just as far as handoffs coming in, guys come in a little faster.
2 women, 2 men.
Yes.
Each team, KU,
Yes.
K-State, and Wichita State. By the way, it looks like no doubt that K-State has wrapped up the team victory here in this with this one event, 249.5 points. Wichita State in second place, 217. KU 184.5, and that means K-State will win their 3rd triangular. So KU and K-State will each have 3 titles in the 6-year history of this event. But right now we've got one more event to go, and again, this was brought in 2 years ago, 2018, to this event. And it is the 4x400 meter mixed relay. 2 men, 2 women competitors for each team. And for Wichita State, starting out, is that Claudia Rojo? Will be running the first leg.
Oh, that is Paula Garcia.
Paula Garcia. Paula Garcia. And
yes.
Where are we here? And, of course, 4x400 is, we always know, the handoffs. This is a quick race as KU, wow, taking out the early lead here. That's Jayhawks running out to the lead as they'll be coming around here on the.
A very strong first leg there.
So back in here.
200 meters. Okay, they are handing off to a man.
Okay, so it's going to be a woman, a woman, man. So the men will finish the race, and
this is going to be very fast-paced here, these handoffs. This is Antonio Norman taking the handoff for the Wichita State Shockers. He was a national placer in NAIA.
The Shockers in a distant 3rd now. And let's see, KU and K-State 1 and 2. So they take the baton, and for Wichita State, got some catching up to do.
Yep. Yeah, he does. He was a national placer in NAIA outdoor in the 400-meter hurdles. He knows his way around a 400. Looks like he's made up a little ground.
One more lap for the guys. So he's got a long stride.
Very.
He's got a stride built for catching up. As the women now are set to go to take the handoff here. This is a battle for 1 and 2 between KU and K-State. There they are coming around that final turn, and now the handoff, which is always so important.
Very.
K-State and KU. And Wichita State in 3rd. Alex Ferguson for K-State.
KU kind of pulling ahead here.
Kuykendall for KU. Kuykendall in the lead. One more lap to go for these young ladies. As then they will be handing off to their male teammates, the anchors.
Geisha Bullock's coming down the
Geisha
first.
Bullock in 3rd. Again, Kuykendall in 1st for KU. Alex Ferguson in 2nd place for K-State. Let's see what the anchors can do. Who we got anchoring this for Wichita State?
Jace Kopic from, he's a Concordia, Kansas native.
Yeah, we saw him earlier. He had a false start, the 200 meters.
Yes, he did.
So maybe,
unfortunate.
hopefully he can make up for this, but boy, it's going to be some real catching up to do as KU out to the big lead. 2 more laps to go as the final handoffs are completed. K-State, or Wichita State, Kopic, right distant 3rd here. He's going to have a lot of catching up to do.
Yes, just try to run a good solid leg here. KU coming around for their first lap. 1 more lap to go to finish this final event here of the triangular.
He's running well with KU is, and K-State. The Jayhawks really stretching it out now. As this is not really a close race at any level, all the way from first to third.
No, there's large margins between each team.
In the final events of this KU K-State Wichita State Triangular, and
We're running a 3:29.
the Jayhawks will win this 4x400 mixed relay. K-State in second, and Wichita State finishing third. 3:29.29 for the Jayhawks. K-State 3:32.33. And that will wrap it up. We'll see what the final team scores will be. But what a day of track and field as we are off and running, literally, this season, indoor season. So this is really, there's been some competitions before already, but this, I think, is the first real one that feels real. You know,
You said that that John Wise had some kind of estimate written up. I wonder where he went wrong with the with the close. I wonder what happened differently in his head than what actually happened.
Well, a lot of that's
today.
based on previous times, previous places. That's how they usually do those projections. And again, it's just projections. We've seen that in a lot of track and field meets. And in fact, last year at the American Conference, Houston was projected to really win by a wide margin.
30 or 40 points.
And Wichita State, it came down to the final events as Wichita State men finished second and took them down to the wire. So
there are a lot of variables in the sport, and that can happen throughout the day. You know, one athlete going down, losing some points in some place where you thought you'd get them, makes a huge difference.
in KU, K-State, and Wichita State, Shockers, Jayhawks, and Wildcats all competing in a single event today, this triangular. It's been a fantastic event the last 6 years, and next year I believe it's back in Lawrence. Yes, Lawrence next year, as it was in Manhattan last year, so they alternate every year. But K-State will win this team title as we're still checking on the final team scores to be released. But again, that would give K-State three victories in the history of this event. KU already has 3. And Wichita State's still trying to still get in there.
Trying to get
Always
one.
very competitive. Don't count the Shockers out here, even though they haven't won the first place.
I think
One thing that always kind of maybe hurts Wichita State is in the speed events, I think.
yeah,
the
the
sprinting events.
sprints are kind of a lacking event. We kind of make up for it in the distance and usually in the multis.
Even in the outdoors, the multis
Yep.
are really strong and
Yes.
things of that nature. So, seen that in the conference meets. But, boy, it's been an enjoyable afternoon, as always, here at the Heskett Center, watching these terrific athletes compete.
I think all the teams had really good marks. I think there were individual performances that everyone's going to be very happy with, and I think everyone had fun today.
As you see all the athletes gathering around. And, again, a lot of these athletes, not just from their same teams, they know each other from past competitions in high school and KU and K-State and Wichita State. And that makes it a terrific event in itself, as we see the K-State team being congratulated by Steve Rainbolt in the infield.
Yeah, it's just a great atmosphere when you can congratulate your competitors as much as you want to beat them, you know.
Yeah. All right, as K-State will win the team title, as Steve Rainbow is presenting the first place trophy. There it is, to the Wildcats of Kansas State. So congratulations to K-State. Wichita State finishes second, KU in third place. Tanner, appreciate your help, man.
Thanks for having me.
Always learn a few things from you guys. Good luck with your career here at Wichita State.
Thank you very
Do
much.
appreciate it. Tanner Brown and Zach Morris, my other broadcast partner, our director, Kurt Ryerson. That's going to wrap it up. I'm Leon Liebel. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy the rest of the track and field season this spring, as that's going to wrap it up. The KU K-State Triangular and Wichita State here at the Heskett Center. Have a great afternoon and a great weekend, everybody.